Mecha battle starting from Gundam. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 51, Graham, the Lonely Man. At the Azadistan Palace, Marina looked at the billowing smoke outside the palace and recalled the conversation with Masood Rahmati a few years ago. Masood Rahmati did not become the leader of the conservatives just because he was unwilling to change. He also hoped that his country could become better. But even good changes cannot be achieved immediately. The people of a country have history, family, religious beliefs, and are accustomed to their current lives. Most people are unwilling to face sudden changes. So he took the initiative to stand opposite the reformists, control the conservatives from rioting, and also work tirelessly in secret to help Marina open up a smooth path. Lasha. Did I do something wrong? Just when Marina was complaining about herself, her best friend and most capable assistant, Celine, walked in. Celine, is the parliament willing to accept my opinion? There is no such condition now. The conservatives are boycotting the parliament, and the reformists are discussing accepting the military aid secretly proposed by the union. This will only stimulate the extreme conservatives. Moreover, why would the union protect our country without any profit? How could it not? Have you forgotten, Amanto? The Parliament of Azadistan is still discussing whether to accept the military aid from the union, but on the UN side, the beyond the flag troops have taken the lead, and the regular troops are ready to go. They are confident that the Parliament of Azadistan will definitely accept the military support they have proposed. In the sky, the only three members of the beyond the flag troops and Billy Katajiri are having a heated discussion. Lieutenant, after such a long time, I can finally see the Gundam again. I hope so. But they actually sent troops to Azadistan. The military leaders have persuaded the parliament. After all, they can't let the Revolutionary Union take all the credit. Billy Katajiri explained. I see. Lieutenant, isn't it too early for your new machine to be unveiled now? Howard Mason said worriedly. Previously, the People's Revolutionary League released the new Ms. Vanguard, and Backward, which caused a sensation around the world and also opened a new round of military competition. However, the flag bearer, designed by Professor Elfman, is only in the experimental stage. All data has not been adjusted yet, and the mass-produced flag grabber has not been built yet. Now it is directly exposed. If you are lucky, it will be good, but if you are unlucky, you will become a laughingstock. There is nothing we can do about it. If we just adjust it in the test field, it will take too much time, and Billy Katajiri looked at Graham beside him helplessly. That's true. This is the lieutenant's style. Howard Mason and Daryl Dodge, who understood what Billy Katajiri meant, echoed jokingly. Graham was not angry at the three people's teasing, but laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, of course. I finally got a new car, so I naturally want to compete with Gundam. My pursuit is very fierce. How can I put it? Lieutenant, your life is difficult. If you are too enthusiastic about girls, they will be scared away. Hearing this, Graham grinned. It's a pity that Gundam is not a delicate girl. If you are not enthusiastic, you will be dumped. It's hopeless. The three shook their heads tacitly. In the Gobi Desert of Azadistan, a large transport plane was hidden in the gap between the hills. Hey, Mr. Melon, is it really okay for you to do this? Miss Wong won't beat you, right? The Delandi brothers kept looking back and forth between Yang Hui and Wang Liumei, who was leaning on his shoulder, complaining unhappily. It is no secret that Yang Hui is amorous and philanthropic, but can you please pay attention to the impact? Have you considered the feelings of us single dogs? How could he be repaired? The most painful thing was that he had to be locked up here and force-fed dog food. No, Sister Wong also specifically asked me to keep an eye on him, so that he wouldn't go out and mess around with other women again. Wang Liumei said with a smile. Yang Hui was basically the passive party in terms of feelings. She and Wong didn't believe that Yang Hui would take the initiative to find other women, but who said Yang Hui's charm was too great? If he didn't take the initiative, would the other party not take the initiative? Isn't this how he and Katie Mannequin, who had half a foot in the house, succeeded? Oh. Damn the instant guy. The Delandi brothers lamented with their foreheads. You two really want to find a woman. Are you afraid that you can't find one? Yang Hui rolled his eyes at the two brothers in annoyance. If others don't know, doesn't he know it? Speaking of instant guys, which of the 5 Gundam messengers is not an instant guy? The elder brother looks unrestrained and dissolute on the surface, but his unique inner gentleness has attracted the only 3 no girl in Ptolemy. If Neil didn't die, he would have married Thyrid and started a family. The younger brother was even more ruthless, and he directly made the enemy rebel. In other words, the director was a beast and forced him to use a knife. Setsuna was the same. At the beginning, he looked bitter and vengeful, but he quietly captured the heart of a princess, who is waiting for him to come back in her old age. Not to mention Tieria, who is now the jewel in the crown of the Celestial Beings organization. Ian and Linda's daughter Melina is even more devoted to Tieria, and doesn't mind even if she becomes a piece of network data. Now you complain that I am a live action? Haha. Don't laugh at pigs, don't say anything about anyone. Haha, let's talk about the mission, Mr. Melon. Unless the civil strife in Azadistan breaks out, we can't intervene by force. Now our target is not small. Lyle said. Unlike the original plot, which only had a small spaceship as a temporary base, this time it was a transport plane. Although it is not as small as a battleship, it is not small either. Moreover, there are 4 Gundams on the scene, which are much larger targets than 2 Gundams. There's no point in being anxious. We can only wait. If civil unrest doesn't break out, we have no reason to intervene. You know, countless eyes around the world are watching us now. But there's no need to be anxious. I guess an armed conflict will break out tonight at the latest. But if we want to completely quell the civil unrest in Azadistan, we must rescue the kidnapped Masood Ramadi and let the people know that he is safe and sound. So finding his current location is the most important thing. Wang Lumri said. Having said that, the people here hate foreign culture. If our people want to sneak in to investigate, I'm afraid it will be difficult to achieve results. Hong Long added. Let me help. I'm from Azadistan. Well, okay, but don't mess around, Shanna. Yang Hui agreed with Shanna's suggestion, but also warned him, although he knew what the result would be. Yes, I know. Neil, Lyle, stand by and be prepared. We don't know where the secret forces of AEU and PMC are hiding. The Army of Union is here too, and they are new models. Don't let anything go wrong. Understood. The Dylandi brothers nodded solemnly. Although they did not participate in the battle in the universe, they could understand how difficult it was to fight, entrapment, and, backwards, just by looking at the video and data. Only Setsuna remained silent. Not only was he about to return to this place that he hated but missed so much, but also because Melon mentioned PMC. Will he come too? Chapter 52. The beginning of turmoil. Night fell, as deep as a man-eating mouth, swallowing everything silently. Although it was late at night, no one rested. Setsuna and the Dylandi brothers had already boarded the Gundam and were on standby. Melon and Wang Liumri were watching the development of the situation. Setsuna did not bring back any useful information after sneaking into Azadistan, and the same was true for other agents, so they could only wait. This feeling is really uncomfortable. Yang Hui complained while leaning on the sofa. He was a person who liked to take the initiative. This passive situation where the direction of the development of the situation was completely controlled by others made him very unhappy. Didn't you guess that someone would take action tonight? Wang Liumri chuckled. That's just a guess. Any guess without any evidence is just illusion. We are just gambling now. Yes, this feeling is really bad. At this moment, Red Dragon sent a message. There was a battle on the antenna, and the guards were killing each other. It should be the conservatives who mixed in. Yang Hui nodded and immediately took out the pad to contact Setsuna and the Dylandi brothers. Neil, Lyle, go out and annihilate the Azadistan garrison. Are the reformists coming too? There's no time to tell. The antenna base station is more important. The Union troops are also patrolling nearby. Be careful. Understood. X2 Setsuna, immediately go to the Zeal base, which is the closest military base to the city. Kill all the Ms that attempt to invade the city. Understood. After the communication ended, Yang Hui also quickly changed into his pilot suit. Is the situation so urgent? Wang Liumri frowned. With 3 Gundams, Yang Hui actually had to go out to deal with a small country like Azadistan. Think about the purpose of the Union sending troops, and, isn't Katie still waiting for me? Yang Hui said with a smile. I see. I wish you good luck in military affairs. Shouldn't we say a successful start? Haha, okay, I wish you a successful start. Got it. Dot. The solar antenna base station has become a mess. The conservatives and the reformists can't tell who is who. If two Ms get close to each other, they will fight to the death. Graham, who was cruising in the sky, was also speechless. It was not good to intervene in the battle at this rate. If he hit the wrong person, it would cause international problems. But at this moment, someone helped them solve the problem. On the distant mountain top, a pink beam of light cut through the darkness and hid a long nose, exploding with sparks. This was just the beginning, not the end. Several beams of light followed one after another, calling out the names of the Azadistan garrison in the melee one by one. The explosions one after another finally turned into wreckage on the ground. That particle beam. It's a Gundam. And this shooting distance, it's a force sniper. Graham's eyes burned with excitement. Lieutenant. You two, go deal with this scene, I'll go meet the Gundam. It's too dangerous for you to be alone, Lieutenant. According to the intelligence, the sniper and the double gun machine are inseparable. You are facing two Gundams alone. Daryl advised, but was interrupted by Graham. As the debut show of the flag bearer, it has to be like this. Or, Daryl, are you going to interfere in my love? Please be careful. Daryl was speechless. He also believed that Graham was not the kind of person who would ignore everything when his mind was hot. Daryl Dodge and Howard Mason drove the flag to the messy battlefield, while Graham headed towards the direction of the Power Angel and the Cherubim. Haha, although I would rather fight with Melon or the Angel of Power, but the Power Angel and the Cherubim are not bad either. Graham muttered to himself after shutting down all the communication channels and black box records. At the top of the mountain, the Power Angel and the Cherubim discovered the flag bearer approaching at high speed, and their expressions became strange. Is this the new model of Union? Why do I feel? Be more confident, brother, get rid of the feeling. If this design was not designed by Melon-san, I would have eaten the Cherubim. The handsome fighter has smooth lines, and the outer armor is sharp after deformation. The nose is hung on the left hand as a shield. It is painted in dark blue and dark gray. Compared with the big sunglasses of Xiansun and BYE, the face sunglasses are smaller, but they shine with a terrifying red light. The wings are folded behind the back, which is simple and cool. Isn't this the style that Melon likes most? Really, Melon-san really likes to cause trouble for others. There's only one new model of Union. It must be a test machine. The other party must be Graham Aka. Alice, it's the fate of hard work, brother, B12 formation. Understood. After the communication ended, the light of the Power Angel was distorted and disappeared directly on the spot. The double guns of the Cherubim separated and aimed at the rapidly flying flag bearer. Hey, let me try it out. I have a skill that can be praised by Melon-san. I am the ace of the Union. After he finished talking to himself, the flag bearer happened to enter the range of the GN beam sniper rifle and shot directly at the flag bearer, like a meteor. But the shot that was originally intended to hit the flag bearer was dodged under the horrified eyes of the Delandi brothers. At the moment when the beam was about to hit the flag bearer suddenly moved sideways a little, just flashing past a pink beam. The high temperature that penetrated the air only left a light red on the armor made of all carbon, but it quickly dissipated. Are you kidding me? Neil quickly came back to his senses, kept moving and fired several shots in a row, almost locking all the positions of the flag bearer. But the next second, a scene that shocked them even more appeared. The flag bearer made an incredible turn in the air, almost brushing against the gap between the beam shooting, and barely broke out of the full encirclement. That guy is just a lunatic, the kind who doesn't care about his life when he's excited. Recalling Yang Hui's warning to them at that time, they still looked unimpressed, but now, they understood. How much pressure is generated by performing such a large-scale turning maneuver at that speed? Most people may faint directly, and serious ones may directly die of internal organ displacement. It seems that we have to be serious. Lyle's eyes focused, and at this time, the flag bearer also entered his shooting range, raised both guns, and locked the flag bearer. At the same time, the beam gun in the hand of the flag bearer also locked the Cherubim. The two fired at the same time, shooting continuously, one swaying back and forth in the air, and the other taking elegant steps on the ground, dodging, shooting, dodging, shooting. Great, flag bearer, let's raise the flag of the new generation together. Graham is very excited now. Although those exaggerated maneuvers have brought him a lot of pressure, the flag bearer can keep up with his movements, and can also perfectly perform subtle movements according to his ideas that the flag style can't do at all. The two sides fought back and forth, but it was obvious that compared to the shooting and restraining cherubim, the flag bearer, who was focused on advancing, quickly closed the distance between them. After getting close, Graham threw away his beam rifle without hesitation, drew out his beam sword, swung his shield and sword, and swung the cherubim's double guns from the middle, raised the sword in his hand high, and was about to swing down. This round, I won. Chapter 53, Durandi's Cooperation, Instant Progress. Haha, great. Lyle looked at the sword that was about to fall from his head. Not only did he not panic, he did not even move to retreat and dodge. He just stood there as if he had accepted his fate. At this moment, the bright beam of light illuminated the night again, accurately hitting the right wrist of the flag bearer, cutting it off at the wrist, and smashing it to the ground with his sword in his hand. Damn it! Hurting my flag bearer. Graham cursed while raising the shield in his left hand to protect himself. It happened that this move blocked the sniper that followed. But even if you cursed, Graham had no chance to fight back. Not only was there a sniper coming from afar, but Lyle in front of him would not miss this opportunity either. He quickly changed his position and formed a pincer attack with Neil to attack the flag bearer. The shield under the bombardment kept making bang 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 sounds, and the heavy impact made the flag bearer retreat continuously. Finally, he hid behind a hill and breathed a sigh of relief. Tisk, you are worthy of being brothers. Optical camouflage, mobile sniping, staggered cover. Melon is cheating. Graham cursed. At this moment, suddenly from the other end of the antenna base station, several missiles with tail flames flew into the deep space. When they were about to fall, they opened their shells and densely packed micro-missiles fell towards the antenna base station. No. Antenna base station. Damn it. Brother. Damn it. There are too many. The moment they saw the missiles, the Durandi brothers immediately gave up suppressing the flag bearer, and opened fire at full power, trying their best to intercept the rain of missiles. It can't be stopped. Just as the three thought so, a rain of beams descended in the sky, and each one accurately hit the micro-missiles. The exploding fireworks turned the dark night into day. That's it. Everyone present looked up and saw the secret angel stepping into the void, slowly putting down his two guns, and 20 GN bits guarding him like loyal knights. The shield-shaped GN bit behind him was open, as majestic as an angel. Haha, well done. As expected of you, Melon sang, you're reliable. Tisk, are you really here? I'm really upset that you saw my embarrassing side. Shooting down the missile attack was like a joke to Secret Angel. He nodded in the direction of Power Angel, Cherubim and Flag Bearer, and then flew to the direction of Power Angel. It was unknown whether this was a compliment to Power Angel and Cherubim, or a mockery to Flag Bearer, or both. In the canyon on the other side of the antenna base station, Sasha saw this scene and sweated profusely, with a forced smile on his face. This is really. There are such monsters in Gundam. It's so scary it's better to run away quickly. At the same time, whether it was the garrison of the Azadistan reformists, the troops of the Union, or the Gundam of Celestial Being, they all received emergency communications. The MIs at the Zil base in Azadistan were abnormally mobilized, and 5 MIs broke through the guards of the base and headed directly towards the capital. But what no one expected was that just as these 5 MIs had just joined up with a contact person outside the city, the Angel of Exa dropped from the sky and landed directly in the center of the 5 machines. With 2 swords sweeping across, it directly cut off 2, Long Nose, in half. The frightened rebels hurriedly fought back, rapid-fire cannons fired, rockets flew, but none of them could touch a corner of the Angel of Exa. Moving left and right, the Angel of Exa seemed to be dancing lightly through the shells, carrying the sharp blade representing death, and cut off the remaining 3, Long Nose, one by one. Seeing this, the rebels on the ground were all scared and fled like frightened birds. Originally, Setsuna's fighting style was not like this. In his heart, the Gundam was an angel, a godlike existence. No matter how many shells were thrown at it, it could not hurt the Angel of Exa, so he became more arrogant and relied on the performance of the Angel of Exa to charge forward. But would Yang Hui allow Setsuna to add more work to the maintenance squad? Of course not. After locking Setsuna in a small dark room called the simulation chamber for a whole week, he finally understood what the art of fighting was. Hush, great progress. From high in the sky, overlooking the performance of the Angel of Exa, Yang Hui nodded with satisfaction. Relying on the performance of the machine is a taboo for pilots. The speed of technological change is too fast. No one knows when the performance of the Gundam will be caught up. Once you get used to relying on the performance of the machine and act recklessly, when the performance is caught up, it usually means death. In the original plot, after the appearance of GNX, it is not without reason that the celestial being troops were suppressed. The driving skills of the 4 Gundam messengers were at most elite level. When the advantages of the machine were no longer there, 4 machines fought against dozens of machines. The opponents were all elites plus a few aces. Those who did not die were all due to the protagonist's halo. This is not an anime, and there is no protagonist halo. If it develops according to the original trajectory, Yang Hui dares to guarantee that none of them can escape. Instant. The vanguard of the Zeal base was destroyed, so they naturally had to rush to the next location. The Ms of the Kazna base has also been dispatched. All of them have been annihilated. Understood. The night was about to pass, and the rising sun emerged from the horizon. Facing the first ray of light in the morning, the Angel of Exa shone brightly and became a real angel. The secret angel naturally followed quietly in the sky. If it was just a few, long nose, at the Kazna base, Yang Hui would not worry about the safety of the Angel of Exa, but the premise is that it was just the Ms of the Kazna base. Say, Katie, I don't have many chances left for you. It's time for you to take action, right? Yang Hui raised the corner of his mouth. Horizontal ellipsis. The 5 mobile suits dispatched by Zeal base were destroyed outside the city by celestial beings, and the Gundam is heading towards Kazna. My life was saved. Hearing this, Celine breathed a sigh of relief. It was simply a pipe dream for 5 mobile suits to attack the palace in Lonchaku, but what Celine was really worried about was the harm caused to the city. Now that Masood Ramadi is missing, the extreme conservatives have gone crazy and don't care that their compatriots still live in the city, not to mention that some lawless people rely on the name of conservatives to do all kinds of evil. Celestial beings. Gundam. Setsuna. Marina murmured as she looked out the window at the green meteors in the night sky that were getting smaller and smaller. Marina, what should we do now? Celine, appease the people first, and the parliament, agree to the military support of the Union. Are you serious? Celine asked with a frown. With the help of the Union, it would be easy to suppress the rebellion, but after the Union's army moved in, would Azeristan really still have the so-called sovereignty? Or will the damage really disappear instead of expanding? Compared to other things, the safety of citizens is the most important. Marina said. Okay, I'll tell the parliament right away. Celine looked at Marina with a meaningful look and turned away. The princess is kind, loves her people, and is dedicated to her country, but she is too kind and naive. Chapter 54, Katamanajan's Assault. Facing the morning light, Setsuna saw the miserable state of the town. The Ms was rampant and wantonly destroyed everything. Many people did not flee, but found weapons at home and resisted the steel giant with their bodies. The result is self-evident. The weapons used by the flesh could not cause much damage to the Ms, but for them, the smallest caliber shells of the Ms could also smash them to pieces. Blood was flowing, and there were broken walls and ruins everywhere. The rubble was mixed with broken limbs and arms, and countless bodies were buried in the ruins. The Archangel fell from the sky and stayed in the center of the battlefield, motionless. Setsuna in the cab lowered his head and kept panting. Cold sweat flowed down from his forehead, along the seams of the driver's suit, and wet the lapels, with blood streaks on both sides. The scene here is almost exactly the same as before the destruction of Crugis. Setsuna, who was only a few years old at the time, was like a corpse lying on the ground. His thin body was holding a gun and shuttled through the ruins. He either died under the bombardment of the Ms or died under the collapsed ruins. The Archangel did not resist the bombardment. When the long nose approached the Archangel arrogantly, accompanied by a roar, 2 GN long swords were aimed at the long nose's cabin and directly inserted into it, destroying both the person and the body. Turning around, the 6 GN infused short swords on the waist were thrown out and directly inserted into the noses of the other 4, long nose. The steel cable was retracted, and the 4, long nose, were directly dragged towards the Archangel. He flew into the air, and the 2 swords flew quickly, splitting each long nose, with the center as the point, and turned into 4 petals and fell to the ground. Boom boom boom. The long nose wreckage surrounding the Angel of Exa exploded one after another. In the bright flames and thick smoke, the angel seemed to have fallen into the devil of hell. Setsuna, is it your turn now? Can you cut off the nightmare of the past? Yang Hui said to himself as he looked at the Angel of Exa, who was ferocious and then fell into silence. But soon, the beep beep alarm sounded, interrupting Yang Hui's thoughts. Huh? Looking at the radar, Yang Hui grinned at the dozens of Ms approaching the Angel of Exa quickly. Did you really take action at this time, Katie? But the next second, the radar detected a large number of missiles attacking him, and the corners of his mouth twitched. This number is really cruel. The thoughts ended here, and Yang Hui's hands began to dance, and the Angel of Exa's dim eyes suddenly lit up. The GN bit came out of the box, and the 2 guns were raised and fired continuously. The beam rain once again faced the missile rain, and brilliant sparks exploded in the air. The Angel of Exa was erratic, creating a gap and dancing with the missiles. But just after passing through a barrage of bullets, the next wave followed, and the alarm in the cab kept ringing, which was annoying. Hey! Where did the secret forces get so many missiles? Yang Hui cursed secretly while looking at the radar display. The barrage of missiles came in waves like waves, leaving the secret angel no time to worry about other things. Neil. Lyle. After reducing the spread of GN particles, Yang Hui immediately contacted the Delandi brothers. The AEU secret forces have been dispatched. Hurry to the Kosi area to support the retreat of the Angel of Power. Understood. X2 Setsuna. It's time to come back to your senses. Understood. Under Yang Hui's exchange, Setsuna finally came back to his senses, suppressed a riot in his heart, took back the GN short knife for throwing, and evacuated to the retreat site according to the predetermined plan. But unfortunately, just after leaving the deserted town, a wave of missile rain fell on the Angel of Power, blocking his retreat route, and hidden behind the smoke and dust, more than a dozen special-purpose formula took advantage of the line of sight and approached rapidly. The moment he rushed out of the smoke and dust, he was met with a sharp blade of the Angel of Exa. But after cutting down 2 formulas, the Angel of Exa immediately began to retreat. Setsuna discovered that the shoulders of the follow-up troops were actually carrying plasma barrier-generating devices. Damn it! Setsuna gritted his teeth, because after he retreated back to the town, he found that the AEU troops not only appeared in front of him, but also surrounded him from all directions. Yang Hui in the sky naturally also noticed this situation and frowned deeply. The Angel of Exa is a special close combat Gundam, and its long-range attack is weak, but once it approaches the enemy formation, it is in danger of being captured. Setsuna, C-44 Tactics. Neil. Lyle. What the hell are you doing? Why don't you come over? Setsuna's answer and the anxious calls of the Delandi brothers were heard on the communication channel. The transport ship has been discovered and is under siege by PMC troops. We are stuck. The transport ship has been discovered. Yang Hui's heart trembled. This is troublesome. The PMC troops will not be too strong, but the transport ship is just an ordinary transport ship, without any defense capabilities at all, and Wang Lumai is still on the transport ship. Are you so cruel? Katie. Yang Hui cursed while controlling the secret angel to dodge the saturation missile suppression, and thought about the response plan. The transport ship must be a feint, but the character of those crazy people in PMC is unreliable. The power angel and the wisdom angel must not be moved, and the energy angel cannot break through alone. This is the only way. Considering the crisis of the situation, Yang Hui did not care about his own safety. Breakthrough in the direction of Q78. I will open the way for you. Neil, Lyle, execute the Reserve C plan and cover the transport ship to retreat to the ZD9 coordinates. Where will you meet? Understood. X3 What about you? Wang Lumai said worriedly, with fear and worry on her face, because he did not mention herself. Katie has gone too far this time. I'm going to teach her a lesson. Wait. Wang Lumai guessed what Yang Hui was going to do and was about to stop him. But the communication had been disconnected and the secret angel had also closed all communication channels. The secret angel's graceful dance steps suddenly stopped in the air, and she stood still in the air like a surrender. Brain quantum wave restrictions, lifted. GN particle maximum dispersion. GN bit operation, fully manual, Mental link system, completed. Yang Hui, who had been closing his eyes, suddenly opened his eyes. Anxiety, tension, displeasure, all expressions disappeared, leaving only a pool of plain water, and the colorful light in his eyes exuded a sense of reason. Just as the next wave of missiles was about to hit the secret angel, the GN bit on standby suddenly moved, and the beams intertwined, weaving a huge net. The missiles were like butterflies caught in the net, and were swallowed up by the hunter. The secret angel fell rapidly, breaking through the billowing smoke and dust. The skirt armor at the waist separated, and the cold blade flew towards the ground, and the dark muzzle was aimed at the mist surrounding the angel of power. Secret angel, begin to annihilate the target. These words without any emotion have already announced the other party's death in advance. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 55, The Massacre of the Secret Angel. In the hilly area, Katie Mannequin established a temporary command post. Colonel, the feather machine was suppressed by the barrage, and the encirclement of the sword machine has been completed. PMC sent a message that the enemy transport ship was found and is being besieged, but the sniper and double gun machine guards make it difficult to achieve the predetermined goal. Let the PMC hold back the sniper and double gun machine for me. As long as they don't come to make trouble, we will win. Increase the firepower suppression on the feather machine, don't save ammunition, entangle it tightly, and order the capture troops to speed up. Katie Mannequin immediately issued an order after hearing the report from his subordinates. The first capture team has suffered 73% damage, and it is difficult to maintain the encirclement. The first capture team retreats, and the fourth team is ready to take over their mission. The PMC troops sent a request for reinforcements. The MIS troops suffered 40% losses, and the Gundams and transport ships began to retreat. Don't pay attention to it. Our target is the sword machine. Let them retreat on their own after confirming that the enemy has retreated. Katie commanded the battle in an orderly manner. Although there were reports of losses, Katie's expression did not fluctuate at all. The current losses were within her expectations. She would not feel bad even if all the hyenas of the PMC died. As long as the combat goal was achieved, it would be best if all the people of the PMC died. Looking at the encirclement on the screen that was shrinking and was about to completely trap the Angel of Exa, Katie couldn't help but curl up the corners of her mouth. It seems that I won, Melon. But the next second, her eyes suddenly widened, and she saw in disbelief that a gap was opened in the encirclement on the screen in the blink of an eye, and the Angel of Exa rushed out and broke through the encirclement. Bang! Katie slammed the table in front of her hard and cursed. Report the situation. What are the encirclement troops doing? Why is there a gap? Colonel. What's wrong? Report clearly. It's the feather machine. The feather machine broke through our fire blockade. In an instant, it completely wiped out the first capture team and the fourth reserve team. What? Katie's pupils shrank, and she shouted in her heart that it was impossible. She had analyzed all the battle records since the secret angel appeared in detail. The fire suppression was completely arranged according to the secret angel's limit. It was fine before, why was it suddenly broken? Contact the frontline observation post, I want to see the video. 2 or 3 seconds later, the video of the frontline battlefield was played in the command post, but everyone was shocked. How? How is it possible? The rapidly descending secret angel released the shield-type GN bit that had been on its back, but it did not guard the secret angel. Instead, it rushed into the missile group. GN mirror reflection system activated. A layer of light green film covered the shield-type GN bit. The moment it was completed, all missiles were fired. Dozens of pink light beams penetrated the missiles and hit the shield-type GN bits in the missile group. A strange thing happened. The attack was not blocked. The shield-type GN bits were like mirrors, reflecting the pink light, reflecting, turning, and interweaving. Just one shot completely eliminated a wave of missile firepower. On the ground, the separated sword-type GN bits were like ghosts in the dark night, shuttling back and forth in the ruins. When the mist turned around in a hurry, a sharp blade in the shadow would pierce their abdomens. The extremely rational Yang Hui also frowned in pain at this time, and fine sweat continued to seep out. No. Monster. You can't win. Run away. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Ah. Wailing, begging, screaming, praying. A constant stream of noise mixed together and poured into Yang Hui's brain, just like putting two high-quality speakers directly in his ears, playing dozens of completely different music at the highest volume at the same time. Moreover, the intense consumption of mental power made Yang Hui's brain feel uncomfortable, as if it was pierced by thousands of steel needles. Exo Angel, the breakout was successful and it is moving towards the designated location. Power Angel, Cephal, evacuated successfully. The transport ship was slightly damaged, but it can maintain normal navigation, and all the crew members on board are safe. After receiving the report that all the crew members were safe, the GN Bits movements instantly lost their spirituality and resumed mechanical regular movements. The light in Yang Hui's eyes was retracted again. The moment he exited the transformer mode, one of Yang Hui's hands left the joystick and pressed his head through the helmet. The painful expression made his whole face twisted together. It's really uncomfortable. It seems that I have to talk to the old man about this, but before that. Yang Hui shook his head, letting his chaotic brain regain a bit of clarity. The secret angel still stood in the void, but the double guns in his hands called out the chaotic enemy Miss troops one by one. Among them, several, formula, that fled in panic were directly shot through the cockpit, and the people and machines were all destroyed. Not only the encirclement, but also the analysis of the missile's rays. The secret angel took back all the GN bits and used them as auxiliary thrusters. It went to the firepower point arranged by AEU at full speed and almost destroyed them without much resistance, and then disappeared into the sky with green starlight. Colonel. The capture troops were all destroyed, and the missile launch base was all destroyed. What should we do? Immediately send a recovery team to recover all survivors, destroy all equipment, and disperse and evacuate personnel to meet at coordinates Y2. Katie made a prompt decision. The battle plan failed. With such a big commotion, it is impossible for Union not to notice it. If they don't leave now, none of them can leave. If they were not caught alive, all the responsibility could be pushed onto the PMC, but once someone in the regular army was caught, there would be no way to defend themselves. Understood. Colonel, the PMC. Their mission has not been completed yet. Don't worry about them. Yes. After giving the order, Katie did not dare to delay at all. She quickly backed up the combat records and destroyed the originals, activated the self-destruction program, got on the car and left. But in the car, Katie stared at the sky with absent-minded eyes. She knew Yang Hui was angry. If it was just a rescue, there was no need to wipe out the entire force, let alone a long-distance raid on the temporary missile launch base. This was a warning to herself and a lesson. But, why? Shouldn't we go all out in our bet? Or, are you asserting your sovereignty? Melon. Thinking of this, Katie's eyes quickly became firm, but I won't admit defeat. Don't think I'm a woman who can be manipulated by you at will. Colonel, the superior is calling. Take it. Katie took out her pad and connected the communication with her superior. Commander. Colonel Mannequin, how is the operation going? It has failed. Everyone is evacuating. What happened? Why did it fail? We underestimated the performance of the Gundam and the ability of the Gundam pilots. I will send the battle records back to the General Staff Headquarters as soon as possible. I am willing to take all the responsibility for the failure of this operation. I didn't contact you to hear these things. Do you know that for this operation? Forget it, withdraw to the country as soon as possible, and send back the combat data as soon as possible. The punishment for you will be decided after you return home. Yes. After the communication ended, Katie raised the corners of her mouth in a cold arc. A bunch of idiots who only know how to show off. I hope you will sober up after reading the data. Chapter 56, The Unconscious Yang Hui and the Panic Gundam Messenger. The coordinate ZD9 is a large canyon outside of Azadistan. The transport ship arrived at the designated location safely under the protection of the Angel of Power and the Angel of Wisdom. Not long after, the Angel of Power also successfully joined them. But no one was relieved because the Angel of Secret who helped them to break the rear had not returned. Seeing that Wang Liumei was about to crush her hand, Neil stepped forward to comfort her. Don't worry, Mr. Melon will be fine. He has never let anyone down. But Wang Liumei wanted to say something, but when she saw the imperceptible green light in the distant sky, her eyes were slightly red, flashing with tears. Yes, he has never let anyone down. Neil was stunned for a moment, looked up at the sky, and then smiled with relief. The black spot in the sky became bigger and bigger, and finally came in front of them, and landed steadily on the ground and squatted down. But the moment the cockpit was opened, they couldn't help but worry. Because Yang Hui climbed out of the cockpit with some difficulty, his feet slipped and fell to the ground. Mr. Melon. The Delandi brothers and Shauna ran over to catch Yang Hui and quickly took off his helmet. This was the first time they saw Yang Hui's face so pale that it was difficult for him to even open his eyes. Mr. Melon, are you injured? Hold on, we'll take you to the medical room right away. No. Yang Hui weakly raised his hand and placed it on Neil's shoulder. I'm not injured, just, my mental power is a little overdrawn, send me back to my room. I want to sleep for a while. As soon as he finished speaking, Yang Hui's hand fell down weakly, his eyes were closed, and fortunately his breathing was even so he didn't scare everyone. What's going on? It's really scary. Lyle complained with a smile. Melon lifted the restrictions on the brain quantum wave, it should be that his mental power is overdrawn. Shauna said. The last burst mode of the secret angel had never been seen before, but they all knew the information about the brain quantum wave. In addition to the action mode that seemed to give life to the GN bit, Shauna came to this answer. It's really, 1 or 2 are not worrying. Neil complained. As the eldest brother among the Gundam envoys, none of his younger brothers are worry-free. Now, there is another Yang Hui. He suddenly felt a headache. Come with me quickly, the room is ready. Wang Liu said anxiously. Everyone did not dare to delay and quickly sent Yang Hui to the room. It is a good thing that Malin is fine, but Malin has fallen asleep and it is unknown when he will wake up. What about the subsequent combat plan? The antenna base station was protected, the rebels were eliminated, and the secret forces of AEU were eliminated, but the civil strife in Azeddistan has not been resolved. It seems, we have to work harder. Neil and Lyle smiled bitterly at each other, and even Setsuna nodded in agreement. Yang Hui has always been the mainstay of the celestial force. With him, there will be no psychological burden in any action, but now a very embarrassing situation has arisen. Although Malin was fine, it was unknown when he would wake up. The situation was urgent. If Masood Ramadi was not rescued, the situation in Azeddistan would get worse and worse. Without Yang Hui's command, they didn't know what to do. The three of them now realized that they had been too dependent on Yang Hui. What should we do now? Wang Liu asked. She was also panicking. There were too many factors beyond the plan for this operation. Even if the subsequent operations were planned, but without Yang Hui in charge, she felt uneasy. Let's follow the planned plan. The AEU troops have been eliminated. With such a big commotion, if PMC wants to take action again, the Union will also be watching. Our most important task now is to find the location of Masood Ramadi and rescue him. Neil decided. In that case, I will immediately contact the agents inside Azeddistan and ask them if they have any gains. Wang Liu said. Thank you for your hard work, sister-in-law. Oh. Hearing this, Wang Liu blushed and left, muttering to herself, sister-in-law is so embarrassing. We haven't even gotten married yet. The Delandi brothers smiled. Yang Hui was their recognized leader. Except for Wang, who was also a sister-in-law, no one in the Shinrun army did not respect him. The woman who had already established a relationship was naturally their sister-in-law. But soon, the brothers' smiles faded and looked at Shauna. What's wrong? Ali Al-Sashes is in the PMC troops that attacked us. What? Shauna's face changed immediately. I think since he's here, then, will you remember anything? For example, their hiding place. Neil asked with a serious face. Coordinates F3987. Are you sure? Not sure, but it is very likely, because there. Unbearable pain climbed onto Shauna's face, and the memories of the source of pain flooded into his mind. Looking at Shauna's state, the Delandi brothers also fell silent. In the heavenly army, the three people who had a close relationship with Ali Al-Sashes were all here. They all wanted to kill him personally, whether for revenge or to cut off the past. Lyle, you go with Setsuna. I'll go inform Wang Liu to prepare to rescue Masood Ramadi. After a long silence, Neil decided to go and walked into the inner room with a cold expression. Brother. I understand. Lyle nodded. Setsuna could lose control, but they couldn't, especially now that Yang Hui was asleep. They also knew that if Yang Hui was awake, He would hand over sashes to Setsuna to deal with, because compared to them, sashes meant more to Setsuna. Let's go, Setsuna. Lyle. I'll leave sashes to you, but I'll make it clear, if you can't do it, I won't hesitate. Feeling Lyle's serious and cold eyes, Setsuna's hesitation and complexity were swept away. I won't give you a chance. He wanted to ask clearly why sashes wanted to start a war? Where exactly was his god? The previous battle naturally alarmed the Union Army. Although they set out at the first opportunity, they were still late. When they arrived at the two battlefields, they only found debris on the ground. If I were a senior military official, I would definitely take the head of the intelligence department out and shoot him. Looking at the devastated battlefield, Graham teased. You don't have to do it. I guess the higher-ups will do it. Billy Katajiri agreed. A reorganized MIS battalion, 3 missile launch sites, and a large number of PMC foreign troops. How did so many troops secretly enter as a distant under their noses? But AEU suffered a painful setback. A whole squadron was wiped out. It should be Melon who did it. Here, take a look. Graham took the investigation report handed over by Billy Katajiri and took a quick look. He could confirm that it was Yang Hui's work. A few missiles directly destroyed the cockpit. A large number of missiles destroyed the cockpit, but the cockpit was fine, and there were missile fragments that almost covered the ground. Facing such a lineup, even Graham alone had no choice but to retreat obediently, let alone the Gundam envoy. What about the other side? According to the calculation of the wreckage at the scene, at least one squadron of PMC's MIS troops was wiped out by half. Only half. Graham was stunned for a moment, very surprised. Except for a few elites, most of the PMC were rookies, and they were not united and did not accept unified command. It would not be difficult to completely eliminate them, right? The technicians found traces of a large transport ship at the scene. It is probably to protect the transport ship. I see. This makes sense. With a transport ship dragging them down, they naturally cannot go all out. Billy Katajiri looked around and made sure it was safe. Then he lowered his head and whispered in Graham's ear, according to Veda's intelligence, the commander this time is Katie Mannequin. Oh, that guy Melon is so cruel. Isn't it? I hope Mannequin won't be hit. Billy Katajiri shrugged and wished sincerely. At this moment, Howard Mason ran over breathlessly and reported loudly, Lieutenant, it's Gundam. Gundam appears again. What? Where is it? Chapter 57 Rescue Success. Accompanied by the Cherubim, the Angel of Power came to a completely deserted town. This was the end of Solon Ibrahim and the beginning of Setsuna F. Kingayan. Setsuna guessed correctly. As soon as they arrived in this airspace, they encountered fierce resistance. The remaining PMC troops formed a defense line to block the raids of the Angel of Power and the Cherubim. Setsuna, leave this to me. You go find him. Understood. The Angel of Power separated from the Cherubim and headed straight for the dark blue formula in the center of the enemy formation. The surrounding enemy troops still wanted to stop them, but they were named one by the Cherubim, opening the way for the Angel of Power. Okay, you couldn't let go before, now it's time to teach you a lesson. Lyle's cold voice came from the Cherubim. In order to protect the transport ship, he and Neil were suppressed and aggrieved. With gorgeous and elegant steps, it seemed as if the opponent's bullets were actively circling the Cherubim. The double guns fired continuously, and the bullets were hit without missing a single target. Soon, a pile of wreckage was left. Unlike Neil, Lyle would still kill the enemy even if it was not a critical moment, so the PMC troops were completely annihilated, both humans and machines were annihilated. In the sky, the battle between Setsuna and Sasas was about to be decided. I didn't expect it. The little devil of Kyrgyz actually drove a Gundam. Kyrgyz is already dead. Is your battle not over yet? Of course I know. Formula, kicked the Archangel away, shooting and forcing him back, while shouting, it doesn't matter what happens to that kind of thing. The special maneuver flashed through the rays of Formula, and instantly accelerated and rushed forward, intersecting with Formula, with swords. Then why are you still here? Where is your god? Facing Setsuna's questioning, Sasas didn't care at all. He just wanted war, and he would do whatever was fun. The reason why he taught these young soldiers to fight for him was, first, it was a bargaining chip for promotion, and second, it was just fun. As for God, haha, only children believe in this shit. With a sideways move, Formula avoided the attack of Angel of Exorcism. Why should I tell you? Unexpectedly, this taunt angered Setsuna again. Angel of Exorcism turned around and chopped off Formula S linear rifle with a sword, which exploded and obscured the view. Formula rushed out of the smoke and wanted to capture Angel of Exorcism, but he grabbed nothing. Angel of Exorcism had already retreated a body when the smoke filled the air. Looking at Sashes, who was close at hand, he raised his two swords high and swung them down like lightning. Since you don't have God, then I will send you to see him. Oh no. Sashes looked at the sword falling, subconsciously pulled the joystick, stepped on the pedal, and the thruster behind him burst into flames, carrying Formula and directly knocking Angel of Exorcism away, but the GN sword still took one of Formula's arms. Watching Formula fly away from the air, Angel of Exorcism did not chase him. He had already determined that Sashes did not have God in his heart, and what he had preached to himself and others back then was just a ridiculous lie. Seeing that the Archangel did not pursue, the Cherubim naturally did not pursue either. He and Neil had already given the opportunity to fight against Sashes to Setsuna, but there was only this one chance. Since Setsuna gave up, they would not give Setsuna and Sashes another chance next time. Let's go, Setsuna, hurry up and pick up that old man. Got it. On the other side, Sashes's men drove Masood Ramadi across the desert, taking Masood Ramadi to the number 2 stronghold that had been prepared in advance. Sashes was a top-notch player in the entire Foreign Legion, and he was insidious and cunning. He would leave a back end for everything he did, and his first priority was to protect himself. Naturally, his men were blessed by this, and they could travel across various battlefields and do all kinds of bad things without getting hurt. But unfortunately, this time they finally ushered in a belated trial. Gundam is really scary. Such a large-scale army was wiped out. Really? I heard that when they were in Morelia, the others had an advance under the captain's instructions, but they still died. If we hadn't happened to be on a mission outside, we would probably have died. It's because we can't beat our captain. This old man is still in our hands. That's right. The captain is the most powerful. Gao. Hey, what's wrong? It's Gundam. What? Looking at the moonlight, the Power Angels were waiting for them on their way. The beams of light cut through the night sky. Except for the vehicle where Masood Ramadi was, all the vehicles were named by the Power Angels one by one and blasted into pieces on the ground. When the vehicle was forced to stop, the agents who had been hiding around, led by Red Dragon, directly killed all the armed personnel who threatened Masood Ramadi and rescued him. You are the celestial beings, right? Yes. Will you intervene militarily in Azeddistan? Masood Ramadi worriedly. Although he was the leader of the conservatives, he was still a man who was devoted to the country. As long as there is no civil unrest in Azeddistan, we will naturally not continue to intervene militarily. I see. At this moment, the Archangel and the Cherubim also arrived at the scene. The Archangel knelt on one knee, and Setsuna walked out of the cockpit. Please come up. Setsuna stretched out his hand to Masood Ramadi. What? Masood Ramadi frowned deeply, not understanding the meaning of this move. After all, he had just been rescued from the wolf's den. Was he going to enter the tiger's den again? But Setsuna took off his helmet, allowing Masood Ramadi to see his appearance clearly. You are. I'm from Kirugis, which is now Azeddistan. What is your purpose? Masood Ramadi asked in a deep voice. It would be fine if they were just ordinary militants, but it was different for the celestial beings. If the celestial beings kidnapped him to achieve some conspiracy, he would rather die here. Send you back and put an end to the civil strife. Shanna replied. What? Masood Ramadi was incredulous, but he quickly calmed down and stared at Shanna. Can I trust you? Yes. After a struggle, Masood Ramadi nodded and boarded the Archangel. Okay, I believe you. The Archangel carried Masood Ramadi, and under the protection of the Archangel of Power and the Archangel of Wisdom, began to return to the hiding place where the transport ship was. Hey, you're back. Mr. Melon. Are you awake? Chapter 58, Smart People. When the brothers Shanna and Delandi brought Masood Ramadi back to the transport ship, they saw that Yang Hui had woken up and was sitting on the sofa waiting for their return. Well, I slept for a while and I feel much better. Yang Hui waved his hand to indicate that he was fine. Although his face was still a little pale, he was just an ordinary driving secret angel and it was fine without high-intensity combat. Don't be too arrogant, Mr. Mayorin. That's right, you can rely on us from time to time. Haha, why didn't I know you were so reliable? Go to hell. X2 Yang Hui liked this feeling very much. Everyone was united and worked towards a common goal. Companions joked with each other, and there was happiness, passion, and warmth. After a few jokes, Yang Hui looked at Masood Ramadi. Nice to meet you, Lasha, you can call me Malin. Are you the commander of the heavenly troops? You are really young. Ambition is not old. If you don't do something while you are young, you will have no chance when you are old. Masood Ramadi was silent. Facing Yang Hui at this time, he felt that he was not facing a young man, but an old man. Under his unrestrained appearance, he was calm beyond ordinary people. What is your purpose? Heavenly, guess. Masood Ramadi stared at Yang Hui, trying to see something from his expression, but unfortunately, Yang Hui hid his thoughts perfectly. His doubts are the doubts of a few people in the world. What exactly does Heavenly want to do? Ordinary people may regard Heavenly as terrorists or heroes of justice when they see their actions, but what is hidden under all these appearances? Using force to eradicate force is one of the biggest contradictions in the world, and it is simply impossible to achieve. There are many reasons for fighting, ranging from national interests to a quarrel. As long as there are people, fighting cannot be eradicated. And their actions are full of inexplicable madness, as if they are walking on the road of self-destruction, and all the hatred is, all. Wait? You. Masood Ramadi suddenly thought of something and looked at Yang Hui in disbelief. As expected of Rasha. Yang Hui smiled and did not answer directly. Should we really say that he is old and cunning? As expected of someone who can deliberately stand against a country for the sake of the country and stabilize a group of fanatics, so he guessed something. But you. Rasha. Masood Ramadi wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Yang Hui. Knowing too much is very dangerous. Yang Hui raised the corner of his mouth. If Yang Hui only guessed it, he would not say anything. There are many smart people in this world. He even suspected that the think tanks of various countries may have guessed their first stage purpose long ago, but due to various factors, it is impossible to coexist peacefully with a heavenly man. But guessing is one thing, and saying it directly is another. Masood Ramadi looked at Yang Hui. He knew that he might have guessed the truth. Yang Hui's attitude had proved everything. But, what if he guessed it? If he could guess it, could others not guess it? How many people would believe it if he said it out? Is there any evidence to prove it? Should he say it out? I am not as good as you. At this time, Masood Ramadi thought of himself and Marina. Both of them were people who could give everything for the country, but now compared with the young people present, their vision was too small. Okay, please take a rest first, I will take you back later. Yang Hui stood up and prepared to take Lasha to the room to rest, but when he passed by him, he whispered, I hope Lasha knows what to say and what not to say. Yes. Masood Ramadi nodded in agreement. He knew very well what he knew meant, and what Azeristan needed now was stability, and it could not withstand other disturbances. After sending Masood Ramadi to rest, he sat down in front of the three people again. Looking at the expressions of the three people who wanted to say something but hesitated, Yang Hui smiled, ask whatever you want to ask, but I may not answer. Mr. Malin, is there anything we should know but don't know? Neil asked seriously. The conversation between the two just now aroused the doubts that had always existed in his heart. Is this considered spying on secrets? Secret? Let's forget it. I believe Mr. Malin will not harm us. When Neil heard it was secret, he stopped asking. If it was anyone else, he might point a gun at the other party to force a confession, but he would not do that to Yang Hui. It's good to know. I didn't waste so much energy teaching you. Yang Hui said jokingly. Mr. Malin, you are younger than us, right? The Delandi brothers covered their faces in depression. You are just a young man in his 20s. What are you doing with the attitude of a big father? You can't beat me, even if you put them together. No, brother, my fist is hard. I support you, go ahead. Wait? I'm still sick. What are you waiting for? Kill him. Seeing Yang Hui and the Delandi brothers fighting in a mess, Shan Na did not join in, but left here with some melancholy. After Shan Na left, the three did not fight anymore, looking at the direction Shan Na left. Is he sick again? Yang Hui asked. He should be unable to find his direction, right? Lyle shrugged and told Melon about the previous battle with Sashes. Is that so? This stinky brat is really a worry for me. Yang Hui smiled bitterly and shook his head, and walked out. By the way, Mr. Melon. Lyle stopped Melon, who was leaving. What's wrong? We gave him a chance, but he didn't cherish it. Lyle reminded. Why tell me? As long as you don't fail, you can do whatever you want. Besides, I also want to kill that bastard Sashes. After Yang Hui left, the Delandi brothers came back to their senses. They looked at each other, smiled bitterly and shook their heads. They felt unprecedented pressure at this time. Brother, it seems that we really have to be a little ruthless to ourselves, otherwise we won't be able to win. Yes, but I suddenly feel a little sympathetic to Ali Al-Sashes. He was actually targeted by Malin Sang. This is, what is it called, an old man taking poison. Who knows? I don't understand the slang of the People's Revolutionary League, but brother, for the sake of my parents and little Amy, we can't lose. Yes, Sashes can only die in our hands. As the voice fell, a hint of coldness floated in the quiet room, and the eyes of the two men flashed with fierce flames. Chapter 59 Overt and Conspiracies. Facing the evening breeze, Setsuna stared blankly at the silent desert, and the painful memories of his childhood kept flashing in his mind. Hey, what's wrong? You look like you've lost your soul. Yang Hui patted Setsuna on the shoulder and asked, enjoying the cool breeze with him side by side. Melon. After his eyes came back to life, Setsuna glanced at Melon and lowered his head again. Setsuna was about to say something but stopped. Yang Hui did not urge him. He knew that Setsuna was very lost now, as if his faith had been destroyed. After a long time, Setsuna spoke. I can't become a Gundam. Pachihaha. Although he had always known Setsuna's faith, Yang Hui couldn't help laughing when he heard him say it in person. What's so funny? Setsuna looked at Melon in confusion. Isn't it funny? How can a person become a Gundam? Yang Hui asked Setsuna in return. Setsuna was stunned. Melon's words were like a heavy hammer hitting the shaky faith, knocking a huge gap again. To be frank, in Setsuna's heart, the first one is Exa, and the second one is Main. It is conceivable how much of a blow Main's denial has dealt to Setsuna. People are people, and Gundam is Gundam, just like you and me. You can't be me, and I can't be you. You are Setsuna F. Kion, a unique existence in this world. How can you be a Gundam? Gundam is a mechanical creation. You can use it as your tool or as your fighting partner, but you can never be it. Yang Hui looked at the night and said leisurely. I am me, a unique existence. Of course, existence is truth. Every existence in this world has its meaning. Air is for people to breathe, water and food are for people to survive, and Gundam is our weapon for military intervention. And you are a Gundam messenger. Since you are a Gundam messenger, why do you want to be a Gundam? Setsuna was stunned on the spot. His previous beliefs had begun to collapse, but after the collapse, the purity hidden by the false beliefs began to emerge little by little. I am a unique existence. I am the Gundam emissary. I am the Gundam emissary. Seeing the confusion of the moment disappear bit by bit, Yang Hui smiled. Although he may not have been able to completely change, and although he has not fully understood the identity of the Gundam emissary, the seeds have been planted, and the influence of Sashes on him has gradually been swept into the garbage dump. The rest depends on Marina. If you have figured it out, go and rest for a while. You have an important task to complete later. Understood. During this time, Wang Jiang sent the final mission to intervene in Azadistan. Hey, are you kidding? Miss Wang, are you serious? Brother Delandi looked at the final mission in horror. If this goes wrong, the Angel of Exa will be in danger. Wang Liumei also didn't understand why Wang would make such a high-risk plan. The civil strife in Azadistan can be easily solved by sending Masood Ramadi back directly. However, the Emperor actually asked the Archangel to disarm all his weapons and personally send Masood Ramadi to the palace of Azadistan. You should know that the army of Union is in Azadistan at the moment. If the Archangel goes there, it is very likely that he will never come back. What's wrong? Is the Emperor's plan here? Let me see. Well, he is worthy of being the Emperor. This plan is simply to the point. Mayor Yinsen. Do you agree with this plan? The Delandi brothers and Wang Liumei looked at Yang Hui in confusion. Of course, this is an open conspiracy. There will be a lot of media present for this news. Union cannot risk the world's disapproval to take action against the Archangel. Otherwise, Union's reputation in the world will be infamous. At the same time, It can also show the vision of heavenly man to the world to consolidate our reputation and positioning. Killing two birds with one stone, why not? After listening to Yang Hui's explanation, the three suddenly felt that this plan was indeed amazing. Also, even if Union is really shameless, don't we still have us? We just lurk near the capital and pick up the angel of existence. In this way, there is really no danger, and we can also slap Union hard. I am looking forward to their expressions at that time. It must be very exciting. In this way, the biggest threat was also eliminated. It is indeed good to have Deng Hsienshun on the scene. All the difficult and complicated problems have been solved. However, the emperor is still not cruel enough, and he should add some more. Yang Hui said with a smirk. Do you have anything else to add? Wang Lumei asked. The Delandi brothers were also surprised and even shuddered, because as long as Yang Hui showed this smirk on his face, someone must be in trouble. Did AEU secretly send troops into Azeristan this time? What will happen if this news is leaked? But they are here to deal with heavenly man, it shouldn't cause too much impact, right? Wang Lumei asked. The premise is only to deal with heavenly man. Yang Hui reminded. So that's it. Haha, now AEU is going to be in a mess. The three people who understood Yang Hui's meaning smiled knowingly. The AEU troops were indeed here to deal with heavenly man, but not just heavenly man. You have to know that the kidnapping of Masood Ramadi was the root cause of the civil strife in Azeristan, and the one who kidnapped him, wasn't it the PMC that AEU incorporated? If the head of deliberately causing the civil strife in Azeristan was put on, AEU's reputation would be worse than Union's attack on the Archangel in front of the media tomorrow morning. But what if they don't admit it? Wang Lumei asked. It doesn't matter whether they admit it or not, as long as Masood Ramadi admits it. Will he help us? Will Masood Ramadi risk offending AEU to assist them? He will, if he is smart enough. Yang Hui didn't even need to discuss this matter with Masood Ramadi. He was basically sure that he would admit that it was the AEU's PMC troops who took him away. Firstly, Azeristan has received assistance and protection from Union, and I was too busy to take care of itself after being exposed, so it could not retaliate against Azeristan at all. Secondly, it was heavenly man who saved him this time, and if he could repay the favor, he would repay it naturally. If he missed this opportunity, he might not be able to repay it in the future. Thirdly, if something happened to Masood Ramadi again after he admitted that he was captured by AO, what would the whole world think? Therefore, AEU not only cannot retaliate against him, but also has to protect him well. But what if AEU pushes the Foreign Legion out to take the blame? This is their usual method. Neil asked. That's even better. Those PMCs have just been incorporated and they are pushed out to take the blame. What will the rest of the people think? Hearing this, the three were stunned and couldn't help but give Yang Hui a thumbs up. This is really insidious. Not only does he want to ruin the reputation of AEU, but he also wants to alienate internal relations. The plan of killing two birds with one stone plus this supplement directly kills four birds with one stone. It's cruel enough. But we like it. Oh, D. Chapter 60 Return of the Saints. At the Azeristan Palace, the minister immediately reported to Marina after receiving the news. Your Highness Marina, Heaven, sent a message. Heaven. Marina and Celine were shocked that Heaven would actually send them a message. Masood Ramadi has been rescued and is heading to the palace. I hope the princess will hold a meeting in the hope of an early ceasefire. Over. Upon hearing this, Marina thought for a moment and immediately ordered a meeting. Your Highness Marina. I do not agree with their approach. This may be a trap, but I prefer to believe it. I am willing to believe it. Marina at this moment was no longer panicked and helpless as before, and her eyes were full of determination. At the same time, a large number of media also received news from Heaven, and demanded that the reporters stationed there must get first-hand reports. This is in front of the Azeristan Palace. There is news that Masood Ramadi has been rescued and is being sent to the palace. Citizens are rushing here after hearing the news. According to unconfirmed news, it was the Celestial Beings organization that rescued Masood Ramadi. I wonder if Gundam will show up here. In any case, if Princess Marina Ismail, who symbolizes the reformists, and the conservative religious leader, the Grand Master, meet, it will definitely push the civil strife in Azeristan to an end. A live report attracted the attention of the whole world. The top leaders of all countries were all paying attention to this scene. Although the report said that they didn't know whether Gundam would come, They all knew that Gundam would definitely come. Lieutenant, will Gundam really come? And he will come with hostages. Howard Mason and Daryl Dodge were worried. The palace was now surrounded by a dragnet. As long as they took action, they were confident that Gundam would have no way to escape. He will definitely come. It's really exciting. Graham grinned excitedly. That's right, this is the Gundam, this is the celestial being, this is the goal he is willing to fight for. Sure enough, not long after, the Angel of Exa descended from the sky and landed steadily in the square in front of the palace. What was shocking was that the Angel of Exa had disarmed all its weapons. Disarmed? It's really insidious. Graham cursed inwardly. In this way, all the arrangements of the Union were scrapped. Neither he nor the military leaders could issue a capture order. There was more than one chance to capture the Gundam, but it would be difficult to recover if the reputation was ruined. While everyone was shocked, the Angel of Exa walked towards the palace step by step, staring at the rain of bullets without retreating a step. Seeing such an Angel of Exa, even the Ms guarding in front of the palace made way, and the frightened citizens stood in a safe position, watching the Angel of Exa move forward. Finally, the Angel of Exa came to the front of the palace and squatted down, inviting Masood Ramadi out of the cockpit. Please go to the palace. Well, this journey is not comfortable. At this time, Masood Ramadi walked out of the cockpit safely and even had a pleasant conversation with Setsuna, which shocked everyone. I'm deeply sorry. Please accept my thanks. Please hurry. Under Setsuna's polite urging, Masood Ramadi walked towards the palace. When he passed by Setsuna, he whispered in a voice that only the two of them could hear, I will help you. Setsuna froze for a moment, but recovered in an instant. After Masood Ramadi arrived at the palace safely, he turned around and entered the cockpit. Unexpectedly, Marina ran out at this time and called Setsuna. Setsuna F. Kingan. Is it really you? Marina still couldn't fully believe that the young man from Crugis who listened to her complaints was really a Gundam messenger. Marina Ismail, whether we will come again depends on the future situation. Setsuna. Fight for the future you believe in. After saying that, he no longer paid attention to Marina's shouting and entered the cockpit. The GN drive was running, and the green starlight points spread. The Angel of Exa rose into the sky in the eyes of everyone. Yes, fight. As a Gundam messenger, I am a Gundam messenger. Setsuna murmured as he looked at Marina below. The UINON side was about to quarrel into a battlefield. One side believed that they should not become the laughingstock of the world because of capturing the Gundam, and the other side believed that as long as they got the Gundam, reputation and other things did not matter. At this time, the Angel of Power and the Angel of Wisdom, which had been waiting near the capital, took off and joined the Angel of Exa to meet the Angel of Secret who was waiting in the sky. That's it. Everyone looked up at the sky. The four Gundams stepped on the void, overlooking the earth like real angels. They were supervisors and punishers, declaring their authority. We have been watching you all the time. If there's a war, there will be us. Tisk, did they really leave a backup plan? Graham smacked his lips. If the Archangels were really allowed to come without any weapons to deliver the returned personnel, then there would definitely be countermeasures around to prevent the Union from jumping off the wall. This was the style of Melon. He would never let his companions die for the sake of a purpose. Lieutenant. Don't go. You'll just be sent away if you go. After Gundam left, major news agencies around the world once again received news from celestial beings. In the process of rescuing Masood Ramadi, they were attacked by the AEU secret forces, and the organization that kidnapped him was really the AEU's Foreign Legion. This news immediately caused an uproar. Although the AEU side strongly denied it, it could not resist Masood Ramadi's public confirmation of the news. For a time, the AEU fell into great chaos, facing condemnation from all sides and questioning from the people inside. It was overwhelmed and difficult to deal with. As expected by everyone, the AEU officials pushed all the responsibilities onto the Foreign Legion, which also led to a large number of soldiers from the Foreign Legion choosing to leave and continue to wander around the world and return to their old jobs. During this period, many mercenaries openly attacked the AEU base in retaliation for the AEU's shirking of responsibility, causing considerable damage. At the same time, the AEU senior executives also watched the combat records brought back by Katie, and had the same expressions as Katie and others at the beginning, and were completely shocked by the unreasonable combat power of the Secret Angel. From all aspects such as strategic deployment, appearance timing, encirclement operations, command and dispatch, it can be proved that there is no problem with Katie's command. If it were not for the appearance of the secret angel, the Gundam capture operation would definitely be successful. Moreover, AEU is now facing the dilemma of no one available, so it still allows Katie to stay in her original position, and only requires her to make meritorious contributions while guilty. Katie naturally doesn't care about these, but browses the reports repeatedly. Showing status, returning the hostages, and making Union afraid to act rashly, this is the work of Jiujo, but what happened afterwards? Malin, it's you, right? What a pity, it's not the cooperation between you and me. Katie looked at the report, admiring the masterpiece of Wang and Yang Hui, and regretted that the person who cooperated with Yang Hui was not herself. Colonel. What are you panicking about? I'm very sorry. Tell me, what's the matter? The superior ordered us to be on high alert. Our unit is about to carry out a highly confidential mission. Here are the orders and the battle plan. Okay, I got it, you can leave. Yes. Katie flipped through the battle plan left by her subordinates, closed it after just a few glances, and fell into thought. Is the trilateral joint military exercise finally about to begin? The turning point of change, the initial goal of the first phase of the plan, I will not lose this time, Malin. Chapter 61 The World's Determination. The civil strife in Azetistan has been temporarily eased, but as long as the reformists and conservatives still exist, Azetistan cannot be integrated into a complete country, and civil strife will inevitably break out again. However, all this is not something that Shinran should worry about. If civil strife breaks out again, they can intervene by force again. Yang Hui lay on the sofa, with two beauties leaning on his arms on the left and right, watching the news interviews on TV with interest. According to the investigation of the JNN interview team, a large number of scientists and technicians have been missing or mysteriously disappeared in the past 200 years. Can it be considered that these events are related to Shinran in some way? After all, it takes at least a dozen years to develop a new MIS. Then do you mean that their plan can be traced back to 200 years ago? Still traces have been found. Wang Liumi said, even a news agency can find clues, not to mention the intelligence organizations of various countries. It doesn't matter. If we want to avoid being found, we have to be inactive. As long as we are still active, we will definitely leave clues. Yang Hui, will this affect our actions? Wang said worriedly. No, the plan has entered the end of the first phase, and the alliance of the three countries has become an inevitable trend. It doesn't matter whether these secrets are exposed or not. Moreover, our base camp is in the universe. We only need to worry about the big families and consortiums behind us. And I don't think they will worry. Yang Hui spread his hands and said indifferently. The Heavenly Man plan also requires a lot of manpower and material support, including a lot of financial support, so in the early stages of the plan, these big families and consortiums are indispensable. Maybe some families or consortiums were indeed persuaded by Iolia and joined in with great ideals, but with a change of generations, how many people still keep their original intentions? Not to mention the conspirators like the Kona family who wanted to ascend the throne from the beginning. These families and consortiums may have prepared a retreat long ago. They only care about their own interests. For example, Alessandro Kona has long prepared the pseudo-solar furnace and the corresponding body to betray Heavenly Man. What Yang Hui said was also true. The plan had come to this point, and they no longer needed this group of traitors. The initial stage had passed, and now the funds needed by the Celestial Beings army could be supported by Wang Liumi's family. Unless the overall plan entered the second stage and Gundam and Ptolemy needed to be remanufactured and upgraded, there would be no need for a large amount of funds. Even if all these families or consortiums rebelled at that time, Yang Hui would have a corresponding solution. It seems that I also need to prepare to evacuate, Wang Liumi said. Although she was somewhat unwilling and did not want to give up her family's business, she had no choice but to give up. That's not necessary. They won't give you up. The only people who know your identity are Alessandro and Lavanzi. Alessandro will not live long, and he will die with all the secrets, and Lavanzi may recruit you to work for him. I can't possibly agree to him, Wang Liumi said a little excitedly. Yang Hui smiled, pulled Wang Liumi into his arms again and comforted her. Of course I believe you. Li Fengzi not only wants you to work for him, but also wants me to join. After knowing the relationship between you and me, He also understands the difficulties, and Li Fengzi is very afraid of me, so he dare not do anything to us before he finds out all my cards. By the time he thinks he has found out, we don't know where to hide. It seems that you have planned everything. Wang asked. It's not my plan, it's the old man's plan. Yang Hui said. I have to admire Alia Zuhenberg as an old fox. How much money and materials have the families and consortiums behind the Heavenly Man organization provided? Have they all been consumed? Obviously not. Yang Hui has investigated every inflow and outflow of materials and funds and found that not only were several batches of rare materials misappropriated by others, but also that a large part of the materials and funds mysteriously disappeared after entering the Heavenly Man organization. The only person who could make these materials and funds disappear without a trace under Veda's surveillance was Ilya Hutchenberg. So what did he do with these materials and funds? Combined with the fact that he had expected a traitor to appear in the Shinrun organization, and the huge and complex plan he had laid out for the final conversation, the answer is obvious. Ilya Hutchenberg was completely treating these families and consortiums like pigs, desperately fleecing them. By the way, Yang Hui suddenly thought of someone while looking at the report, and asked Wang Liumei, who found this report. Wang Liumei smiled knowingly, took out the pad and retrieved a piece of information. It's her, she's also a beauty. Oh. Yang Hui's mouth twitched, his expression was as innocent as it could be. Did he go there for her looks? Don't you know how you and Katie succeeded? He. Wang Liumei and Wang looked at each other and chuckled. Yang Hui took the pad with resentment, looked at the familiar photo, and sighed that it was indeed her. Zhuangjiang Crosslord, a reporter from JNN, is very smart. From our first operation, all reporters followed us to report, but she was the only one who set her sights on Ilya Schuenberg from the beginning, and then followed the clues to find so many clues. Wang Liumei introduced. Ever since Zhuangjiang began to visit the families of missing scientists and technicians, she has been targeted by the agents of the Heavenly Man organization, but they have not touched the core secrets yet, so they did not touch her. If they continue to investigate, then her safety cannot be guaranteed. Find an opportunity to meet her, such a talent cannot be wasted. Okay, I'll arrange it right away. After Wang Liumei left, Wang asked Yang Hui, are you really not? Don't you know what's going on? Yang Hui rolled his eyes and looked at Wang with resentment. Wang pinched the soft flesh on Yang Hui's waist in annoyance and turned 720 degrees. Hiss. You're the one who'll enjoy the happiness in the end. Be gentle. It's going to fall. At the same time, in the secret meeting room of Union, the leaders of the three parties, Union, the People's Revolutionary Union and AEU, gathered. The last time they gathered together was at the Solar Power Generation Summit. The scandal of the Superman Agency must have been a headache for the People's Revolutionary Union for a while, right? And the rebellion of the PMCs must have been a headache for your country, too, right? We're not here to chat. Let's stop with the meaningless probing. This is an informal meeting. Let's get straight to the point. I've read the information. If it can really be realized, we can also be recorded in history, right? I think the Gundam has such a high value, and no matter which side of us can deal with it alone, the losses we have suffered have also made us lose face. Yes, it's time to let the Gundam see our determination. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 62, Deviation of Trajectory. A few days later, the People's Revolutionary League, UINON and AEU officially announced the news of a large-scale joint military exercise, which shocked the world. Ordinary people only saw the surface. The three countries that had never dealt with each other finally put aside their prejudices and shook hands to make peace. Finally, there was no need to worry about the outbreak of war. But anyone with a little vision could see the deep meaning behind it, especially after all three parties organized Gundam capture operations and all failed. Livens, it's finally time to start. The first step of world change. Alessandro Corner looked down at the prosperous city below through the French windows. The TV was broadcasting the press conference of the joint military exercise. Yes, Lord Alessandro. Levon still pretended to be respectful and replied. I just don't know how the celestial beings will respond. Lord Alessandro, do you need me to go down and make arrangements? How could that be? I'm just an observer, hiding behind to monitor whether they are capable of carrying out a plan. I won't do anything, so far. So far? There shouldn't be any problem, after all, there is Mr. Melon. Melon. The two people had different feelings when talking about the same person. Levons was looking forward to it, expecting Yang Hui to show more and stronger strength. He secretly got the news from his intelligence system. The scale of this military exercise was far greater than before. As far as we know, there are more than 1,000 MIS participating in the war, and the artillery and missile units are countless. The three major forces are almost emptying their funds. Levons thinks he is the savior and the existence that rules mankind, but even if he faces such a situation, it is difficult to imagine how one person can change the entire war situation. He wants to see more, which can prove that his choice is right and Yang Hui is qualified to be one of them. Alessandro Koner looked calm on the surface, still believing that Yang Hui could control the situation, but in his heart he was about to curse Ilya Schuenberg and Yang Hui to death. Why did this evil person appear? Was the plan that the Kona family had hidden for more than 200 years going to be ruined by one person? He was also calculating how to get rid of Yang Hui in advance, otherwise it would be extremely difficult for the Kona family to usurp the Heavenly Man project. Moreover, his status was very high, second only to the initiator Ilya Schuenberg, and he had the right to mobilize all the resources of the Heavenly Man organization. His identity was easy to confirm, the Young Tiger of the People's Revolutionary League, the most talented MIS designer in 100 years. But knowing his identity was one thing, and whether he could be used was another. Didn't you see that his brother Sergei only conducted an internal investigation and left it alone? Levens, how is the investigation of the new MIS of the People's Revolutionary League in the Union going? We have investigated everything. The new MIS of the People's Revolutionary League, officially named Xianzhen and BYE, are the information that Melon left at the academy before joining Shinrun. The new MIS of the Union, Flag Bearer, and its simplified mass-produced version, Flag Grabber, were also left as graduation gifts for Professor Ralph Elfman before joining Shinrun. Levons reported. It's really watertight. If it was given after joining Shinrun, he could impeach him from within for aiding the enemy, or even say that he was a spy or betrayed the Shinrun organization. But now, there is no way. Even if he can see some clues from the appearance of Xianzhen, BYE, and Flag Bearer, it is impossible to use this as an excuse to prove that Yang Hui betrayed the Shinrun organization. Levons, inform Ragnar to be ready at any time. We may need to advance our plan. Yes, Lord Alessandro. The Federal University bar was cleared out again. Sergei, Graham, Billy Katagiri, and Katie all received orders from their superiors and could not leave the base, so only Yang Hui and Wang Liumei were waiting for someone here. Is she going to stand you up? She's already an hour late. Yang Hui looked at the time and complained. According to the intelligence, she came here from the Neon Special Zone today. The flight she took was delayed due to weather reasons. Calculating the time, she will be here soon. Wang Liumei chuckled. Okay. Just as Yang Hui was sighing, the door of the bar was pushed open, and Zhuan Jiang ran in a bit of a hurry. Seeing the empty bar, except for the bartender, there were only two guests, Yang Hui and Wang Liumei, and naturally guessed that they were the ones who contacted her a few days ago. Hello, I'm Zhuan Jiang, a reporter from JNN. This is my work permit to prove my identity. I'm very sorry to have kept you waiting. Zhuan Jiang was also a little surprised. The plane was delayed for an hour, and she thought she had made a wasted trip, but she didn't expect the other party to still be waiting for her. Moreover, he provided her with confidential information from the inside of Shinrun. This made her feel like she had found a soulmate and held the key to the door to the truth. Hello, Miss Zhuan Jiang. You are Mr. Malin, right? Can you really provide the inside information of Shinrun organization? Zhuan Jiang regretted asking this question. Sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but you also know that the information of Shinrun is not so easy to get. It doesn't matter, but Miss Zhuan Jiang, before I tell you, I want to remind you that what I will provide you will be the most core secrets of Shinrun. If you stop here, then we will be safe. If you continue to investigate, I'm afraid your life will be in danger. Do you still want to know? Malin asked. Wan Jiang realized something was wrong. She stood up right after she sat down and slowly moved towards the door of the bar. But as she was moving backwards, her back bumped into someone. She turned around and saw that the bartender who had just been wiping glasses at the bar was standing behind her, staring at her. The pressure almost made her unable to stand. "Please sit down." Hong Long asked Wan Jiang to sit down. Gulp. Wan Jiang swallowed her saliva, looked at the door behind Hong Long, then looked at the chair, and then looked at Mai Erin and Wang Liumeng. Seeing that they were waiting for her choice with a smile, Wan Jiang finally chose to sit down. "Who are you?" Wan Jiang asked nervously. She guessed that the other party was from Shinran, and might even be here to clean her up. "Don't be so nervous, Miss Wan Jiang. Before answering your question, I will give you two choices. First, what you have investigated now is irrelevant. As long as you promise to give up investigating Shinran, we will live in peace in the future. Of course, someone will continue to monitor you. If you break the contract, you know the consequences." Wan Jiang knew what the consequences were. It was the first time she encountered such a thing, and she was also scared. She subconsciously wanted to agree, but she thought of her father who died in search of the truth, and she hesitated. "What is the second option?" Wan Jiang asked. "Second, I will tell you everything you want to know, but I'm afraid you have to resign from JNN." Wan Jiang understood that the other party was holding a sword in one hand and a book in the other. On the one hand, he warned her not to continue the investigation, and on the other hand, he recruited her to work for them. "What should I do? How should I choose?" Wan Jiang's heart began to struggle fiercely. She didn't know who the other party was. What if he was not Shinran? What if he was a member of an evil organization? But the truth she had been pursuing was right in front of her, and she was reluctant to give up. Yang Hui and Wang Liumeng did not rush. This was a difficult decision, and Zhejiang's ability was worth waiting for. After a long time, Wan Jiang finally made a decision. "I choose the second one." Chapter 63 First Mission. Wan Jiang has always been clear that if she wants to know the truth, she must pay a price. If the other party is really a member of Shinran, and can come to recruit members, it means that the other party's status must not be too low, if the other party is not. This is a gamble. She chose to gamble, betting that the other party is a member of Shinran, and the ultimate goal of Shinran will not be evil. As for Shaz, he has grown up and can take care of himself. Congratulations, Miss Wan Jiang, you made a wise choice. I believe you will not regret it. Yang Hui's mouth curled up. This is the choice he most hopes to see. Wan Jiang is a reporter and a woman. Once her curiosity is aroused, she can't control it. If Wan Jiang chooses one, he is sure that Wan Jiang may remain silent for a while, but she will definitely continue to investigate over time. At that time, even if Yang Hui feels it is a pity, he can only kill her. "Can you tell me who you are now?" "Yes, codename, Mirren Stewart, the Gundam messenger of Secret Angel, and the person in charge of the Celestial Being Project." "What?" Wan Jiang was shocked. She thought Yang Hui was just a small leader at most, but she didn't expect him to be the person in charge of the entire project. What was she worthy of? How could she be noticed by such a big boss? And, she looked too young, didn't she? And she was a Gundam messenger. Was a Gundam messenger the pilot of a Gundam? What is a secret angel? It's what they commonly call a feather machine, but I don't like this title very much. It's too cool. Yang Hui shook his head in frustration. What an elegant and handsome machine his secret angel was. What a gorgeous record it had under his control. But with the word feather machine, it lost all its coolness, which was hard for Yang Hui, who respected handsomeness. "Are you the pilot of that Gundam?" Wan Jiang knew about the feather machine, of course. It didn't appear many times, but every time it appeared, it would bring great damage. She even heard gossip from the army that the secret angel has always been called the one-man army. Why not like it? It's really hard to imagine. Wan Jiang admitted this very frankly. Yang Hui was only in his 20s, and he was the person in charge of the project and the most powerful Gundam pilot. This achievement was hard to imagine. Wang Liumeng covered her mouth and laughed secretly. If Wan Jiang knew that Yang Hui was also the top scientific researcher and Ms. designer, she would be shocked. What about her? Are all the members of the Celestial Being Organization so young? Wan Jiang looked at Wang Liumeng again. Operation Codename Wang Liumeng, responsible for the intelligence system of the Celestial Being, and your future boss. Yang Hui said, But he couldn't help scratching his nose. It seemed that in the current Celestial Being army, only Ian and Dr. Marino were a little older, and the others were really young people, except Tiaria. Others, either they dare not use them, or they are supervisors like Professor Effman and Mr. Wang, who do nothing except supervision. Okay, I understand. Then I want to ask, what is your purpose? Please don't use the excuse of eradicating war to perfunctorily deal with me. Okay, but I can only tell you the plan for the first phase. After all, you just joined. Yang Hui spread his hands and said that the subsequent plans were too far away, and Zhuangjiang knew that these were indeed inappropriate as soon as she joined. You must know that only he, Wang Liumyi and Professor Effman knew the true face of the first phase of the plan, and even the other people in the Heavenly Man unit were not clear. Okay. Zhuangjiang naturally understood, and as long as she stayed in Heavenly Man, she would definitely know the content after the first phase of the plan. Let me ask you a question first. What do you think of the current joint military exercise? Joint military exercise. Wanjiang was stunned for a moment, and after a little thought, she came up with the answer. On the surface, it is a joint encirclement of the solar power orbital elevator, but it is actually aimed at the Gundam, right? Yes, under the guise of a military exercise, it is another Gundam capture operation, and the three countries have all been defeated by us, so this time they have united and mobilized a large-scale complete force to capture the Gundam. But what do you think? If this military exercise fails after mobilizing so many manpower and material resources, not only will they not give up, they will even be more closely connected, and even united, together. This is your real purpose. Wanjiang looked at Yang Hui in disbelief. That's right, and the Heavenly Man, who concentrates all hatred in one, as the first achievement of the joint army, is also the key to establishing a unified regime in the world. Isn't it a very poetic script? You are, this. Now, all the fragmented clues are connected together. No wonder their actions and declarations are contradictory to each other. No wonder they are like walking on the road of self-destruction. It turns out that they knew they would be victims from the beginning. So, are you really planning to? Wanjiang didn't expect the truth to be like this, and she just joined and learned that the Shinrun troops were sacrificed. Of course not. I value my life very much. Don't forget that this is only the first phase of the plan. Then, I will lead everyone to retreat safely. And then show up again when the world needs Shinrun again. You are worthy of the talent I have selected, and you can answer the questions quickly. Yang Hui applauded Wanjiang. Okay, I get it, so what do you need me to do? Yang Hui did not answer, but looked at Wang Liumyi. Since she was her subordinate, Yang Hui would not interfere. Wang Liumyi nodded and handed a file to Zhuangjiang. This is your task. Use your identity as a reporter to investigate this person. Zhuangjiang opened the file and read it. Ragnar Harvey? Why do you want to investigate him? According to the intelligence, a large amount of rare materials have been flowing out of the organization, and the final point is to this person. We suspect that there is a traitor in the organization, and he is the next buyer. Traitor. It's been more than 200 years, and the organization is big and there are all kinds of people. It's normal to have a few traitors. Yang Hui waved his hand to indicate that he didn't care. Okay, but if there is a traitor, the secrets of Shinrun will be. The internal hierarchy of Shinrun is clear. You are already an exception for knowing so much? Wang Liumyi replied. This is also true. If it weren't for Yang Hui, she would not be qualified to know so many secrets. I know, I will investigate him. Zhejiang didn't say anything more and accepted her first task. By the way, for your safety, several agents will be arranged to protect you. This is their contact information. The code word and special car are ready for you. Wang Liumyi handed Zhuangjiang another file and said, Okay, thank you. Wanjiang packed up everything, made sure there was nothing else to do, and stood up to leave. Wang Liumyi continued to chat with Yang Hui. Do you trust her? If you trust me, then I will. Besides, she is the kind of person who pursues the truth purely. Haha, Liumyi, the first stage is about to end. The second stage will not be easy. Are you afraid? I'm not afraid as long as you are here. Alice, I am really destined to work hard. Chapter 64 The Calm Before the Storm. 2 days later, everyone who had a temporary holiday was summoned back to the island, and even Aleluja in the universe drove the Archangel to the Earth. Just received a report that the UINON fleet is crossing the Pacific Ocean and heading towards the Eurasian continent. After receiving the information, Hong Long immediately reported to Wang Liumei and Yang Hui. Thank you for your hard work, brother-in-law. You should sit down and relax. Leave this kind of thing to others. Yang Hui said. Hong Long's external identity has always been Wang Liumei's bodyguard, but in fact, Hong Long is Wang Liumei's biological brother. He only regards himself as a bodyguard because he cannot compare with Wang Liumei in all aspects. I dare not. Hong Long was terrified. He was taught to treat himself as a servant and protect his sister since he was a child. Alice, look at the disadvantages of a big family. We are all one family, but we have to make a distinction between the 3, 6, and 9. Yang Hui was depressed. He stood up and pressed Hong Long's shoulders to let him sit in the empty seat. Although he was still tense and looked straight ahead, it was much better than standing aside like a servant, wasn't it? You were not born in a big family, so of course you don't understand. Wang Liumei rolled her eyes at Yang Hui. The Smirnov family is not small, right? Although it is a military family, my brother and I are pretty good, right? Yang Hui spread his hands and said. That's because the Smirnov family was made by fighting. Who knew that there would be such a freak like you? Before she finished speaking, Wang Liumei suddenly stopped talking, because she suddenly remembered that Yang Hui was an orphan and was adopted by the Smirnov family. I'm sorry. What's the matter? I think my parents, whom I have never met, will be very happy to see me like this, especially since I have found them such a beautiful daughter-in-law. Pretentious. Wang Liumei said coquettishly, but she recovered immediately. She knew that although she was still on vacation, the situation had reached a critical point. AEU's MIS troops are also gathering at the border of the People's Revolutionary League, right? The large-scale military exercise is about to begin. AEU has suffered such a big loss recently, and I'm afraid they can't wait any longer. Yang Hui sneered. Do you have a prediction for the location? Taklamakan Desert, Uranium Enrichment Landfill. My prediction is consistent with Veda's. Wang came out of the house, looking tired. You've worked hard. Come here, husband. Give me a hug. Go to hell. Wang pushed away the face that was getting closer and closer, and walked directly to Wang Liumei's side and leaned against her. Are you sure there will be a dispute? Tiria asked. I say, Tiria, this kind of question is not in line with the identity of a reformer at all. Yang Hui pretended that nothing had happened, and squeezed in between Wang and Wang Liumei, hugged the two of them in his arms, one on the left and one on the right, and then looked down on Tiria. What did you say? Tiria's forehead bulged with blue veins. The 3 major countries suddenly announced that they would conduct joint military exercises. Isn't the purpose for us? In order to lure us out, it is normal to send some dead soldiers and armed personnel to die. Yang Hui explained. I understand. What's the response plan? It's already been made. If I'm not mistaken, there will be armed elements attacking the uranium enrichment landfill in the next 2 days. 5 Gundams will attack together. We must not be left alone. Yang Hui, I will cut into the battlefield from the southeast to attract their attention. According to my and Veda's calculations, the 3 major countries will dispatch at least 800 MIS this time, and half of them will attack you. Are you sure? Wang worried. Is Yang Hui strong? Of course he is strong. But no matter how strong he is still a person. As long as he is still a person, he will get tired. Even if hundreds of MIS are sent to him for him to attack, he will be exhausted to death, right? Not to mention the auxiliary artillery and missile units. Don't worry, it's impossible to wipe out all of us, but we can get away safely. Yang Hui said, but their goal is definitely to delay me and not support you, so the elite troops will definitely not be on my side. Setsuna, Neil, Lyle, Aleloja, Tiria, you have to be careful. Understood. X5 except for Setsuna who was as calm as ever, the other 4 had flames burning in their eyes, especially Tiria. Last time, he was beaten to a pulp by the People's Revolutionary League's Dingwu and was almost captured. In the end, he also exposed the Natter Gundam, which made him lose face. I'm definitely not available to command, Neil. You're the calmest among you all, so I'll leave the on-site command to you. If anyone dares to disobey him, hehe. Setsuna and Amp, Durandi brothers and Amp, Aleloja and Amp, Tiria, oh. Professor Elfman, who stayed behind in the Beyond the Flag unit, browsed the mission briefing, turned it off after reading it, and stood in front of the window looking at the sky. The total number of MIS units is 80, and there are more than 1,000 MIS participating in the battle. It's really a big deal. Can you make it safely, Myron? Dong Dong, come in. Professor. Billy Katajiri walked into Professor Elfman's office and looked at him with a worried look on his face. Calm down, Katajiri. Trust them. Do we really not need to pass the information to them? No use. This is an open conspiracy. Even if they know it's a trap, they have to step into it because they are a Mecha. Even if they are Gundams, it's hard to imagine that they can survive such an attack. Trust them. This is all we can do. Yes, Professor. At the Taklamakan Desert Garrison Base, the top weapon troops led by Sergei have been waiting here for a long time. Entrapment and backward have been prepared and kept in the best condition at any time. How is the communication network prepared? Sergei asked. All the troops participating in the exercise have confirmed that the communication network signal is good, and all MIS have been connected to the network. I didn't expect that one day I would join forces with AEU and Union, really. Sergei looked up at the sky and smiled bitterly. Personal relationships are not counted. The three major countries can be said to have a mortal feud. Just a few Gundams actually forced them to put aside their hatred and unite together. The end point of the first stage, Xiaohu, you must successfully cross it. Sergei prayed for Yang Hui and his heart, but at the same time he did not intend to show mercy. This was his pride as a warrior, and it was also the ordeal that the Shinrun troops had to go through. Colonel, all MIS troops have entered the designated position. The communication network has been built, and all MIS have been connected. Very good, all troops stand by at the current position and wait for the guests to enter. Katie ordered after listening to the report of his subordinates. Understood. Katie was appointed as the commander of this military exercise. Although only the AEU troops were fully under her command, in an emergency, she had the right to make suggestions to the troops of the People's Revolutionary League and the Union, and even took over all military power except the elite troops. Enriched uranium landfill, deliberately indulged the attack of armed organizations. Haha, what a calculation, but Mayarain, how will you deal with this crisis? Katie thought. Chapter 65, The Beginning of Broken Wings. In the endless yellow sand, a landfill stood alone. 3 long-nose missiles with 3 troop carriers were approaching the landfill at the fastest speed. They were running and firing at the landfill. The damage was random and the hits were touching. Swish, the pink beam of light cut through the air and pierced the 3 long-nose missiles one by one. Even the 3 troop carriers were not spared and turned into fireworks. Power Angel, mission completed, evacuate now. Beep beep beep. The Power Angel, who had been hiding under the optical camouflage, was about to evacuate when countless black dots flew from all directions with dangerous tail flames, setting off the radar alarm. You found me so soon? Damn it. Switch the plan to B4. Neil looked at the missiles falling all over the sky and didn't dare to hide under the optical camouflage anymore. He quickly deployed the shield and headed towards the designated evacuation point. Understood. X2. As soon as the words fell, the Archangel flew from the distant sky with a cherubim. The GN rifles and GN submachine guns kept firing, hitting the rain of missiles in the sky, but they could only help the Power Angel share a little pressure, and it was impossible to completely intercept them. Enemy planes are attacking. Got it. I'll go pick up the Power Angel, you be careful. Understood. The cherubim broke away from the Archangel's back and fired a wave of barrages at the fast-approaching fleet. It landed directly beside the Power Angel and opened all the shields to protect him behind him. Because of the optical camouflage and secret tactics, the Power Angel had no shield design at all. The 2 shields on his body were temporarily loaded with the spare parts of the cherubim. How did they get discovered so quickly? Have they cracked the optical camouflage? Lyle asked after connecting to Neil's communication. It was expected that the 3 major countries would attack jointly after defeating the militants, but I didn't expect the other party to be so fast. Almost the moment the militants were eliminated, the other party launched an attack, as if they had already locked the position of the Power Angel. And during the violent tremors, Neil gritted his teeth and replied, a large number of two-way communicators are scattered. This is the trick used in the universe. GN particles are not all advantages. What should we do? According to this attack density, They want to nail us here. Lyle asked. The plan is to switch to D7, contact the area to open the evacuation route, and we will go to meet them. Wait? That action. Aleluja, come down quickly. It's a self-destruct special attack. Neil was about to contact the area to implement a backup plan when he saw UINON's actual combat Air Force in the sky move very strangely, rushing towards the Archangel as if they were not afraid of their lives, and hurriedly reminded them. However, at this time, the Archangel was already surrounded by actual combat and had no gap to escape. Boom boom boom. Alleluia. A large number of actual combat separated the lower body and hit the Archangel, and the thick smoke and fierce flames covered the Archangel, and the fragments fell like raindrops. With Alleluia's scream, Archangel fell with thick smoke. Seeing this, Power Angel and Cherubim shouted that it was not good and quickly moved towards the place where Archangel fell. Alleluia. I'm fine. Alleluia shook his head, transformed Archangel into Ms. form, and formed a triangle formation with Power Angel and Cherubim to resist the enemy's firepower coverage. T-Area. Hurry up. Zizzy. Don't rush. Zizzy. GN rocket launcher. Charging completed. GN particles. Zizzy. Release. The intermittent communication ended, and the thick destructive energy plowed through the desert, bringing a deep gully. The passage is open. Zizzy. Meet at coordinates I-24. Understood. X3. The passage has been opened, and the three machines drilled in without hesitation, with Archangel leading the way in front, Power Angel following behind and constantly shooting into the sky to reduce the density of missile suppression, and Cherubim following behind the two machines, slightly above, to block the attack that would hit them. But they underestimated the manpower and material resources invested by the coalition forces, and also underestimated their tactical deployment. The trenches did effectively reduce the threat posed by missile coverage and long-range firepower coverage, but the enemy's deployment was not just missiles and long-range firepower. Not long after they advanced, the missile attack stopped, and the bombing troops in the sky had arrived above the three Gundams. The lower belly compartment opened, and bombs fell from their heads one after another like dumplings. Damn it. Lyle. Alleluia. Understood. How many troops are involved? The three machines stopped, and even the Cherubim temporarily put away their shields, and pointed their guns to the sky to confront the bombing troops in the sky. Countless fireworks exploded in the air, and the fire and smoke had already filled the sky in their sight, but the three did not dare to stop pulling the trigger. They knew that behind the smoke and sparks, there were countless crises hidden. At this moment, danger. The radar alarm sounded loudly, and Lyle's pistol opened the shield again, and also pushed the Power Angel and the Archangel away, pressing them behind him. Lyle, what are you doing? Neil wanted to scold Lyle for his reckless behavior, but the next second he saw countless grenades thrown down from the edge of the trench and hitting the shield of the Cherubim. At the same time, bombs that had lost their fire suppression also followed. The aftermath and vibration of the explosion made the three of them scream, and the back-fixing devices almost failed. Hurry up. We can't stay here any longer. But how do we leave? The enemy's firepower is too strong. Alleluia, turn on the GN particle distribution, and let's rush over with the help of the GN force field. Got it. Lyle. I understand. Damn bastards. The three aircraft withstood this wave of firepower coverage, and dared not delay any longer, and immediately stood up and evacuated. The Archangel gave up all offensive actions and transferred all the energy of the GN drive to the GN particle distribution. The emerald green GN force field was set in the front, dispersing the smoke and dust that obscured the vision. The Power Angel clung to the back of the Cherubim, and placed the GN sniper rifle on the shoulder of the Cherubim to guard the sky. The Cherubim still relied on the GN shield to protect the tail of the three people. As they got closer and closer to the rendezvous point, their speed was getting slower and slower, and the enemy's firepower suppression was getting more and more fierce. Hold on. We're about to reach the rendezvous point. Got it. X2. This section of less than 100 kilometers, normally it would only take more than 10 minutes to sail, but under the influence of firepower suppression, it took 5 hours to walk. But just a few kilometers away from the rendezvous point, they saw that the Angels of Power and Angels, who were supposed to be waiting for them a few kilometers away, were completely suppressed in front of them. Too slow. Ugteria's blame came as soon as the 5 Gundams had just reunited. Don't be ridiculous. It's a desperate effort to get here safely. Lyle retorted. Setsuna, teary-eyed, why are you here? Neil asked while intercepting missiles and bombings in the sky. We were forced to come here. They didn't even give Tyrion a chance to fire. Setsuna said. Damn it, Tactical Formation Z10, teary-eyed, open up a new path. Understood. X4. Chapter 66 Murdering Your Husband. The people who stayed in the villa looked at the time and couldn't help but worry. Due to the spread of GN particles, coupled with a large amount of firepower coverage and communication interference, they couldn't get in touch with the Gundam messengers on the front line. It's been 5 hours since the start of the battle. Will Setsuna be okay? Richie said worriedly. Don't be discouraged. According to the D7 preparation plan, they should have reunited by now. Christina scolded. Sorry. It would be great if we could use GN fighters. Damn, it's just that it's not ready at this time. Lass punched his palm. It was too uncomfortable to know nothing and just wait. Beep Secret Angel's communication application. Hearing Christina's report, everyone present rushed over to wrap up Felt who had fallen asleep. This is Secret Angel. Got it, Mr. Mellon, go ahead. Calculating the time, the plan should have been transferred from D7 to E6. I'm going out. Yang Hui said. Understood. Yang Hui. Don't worry. Looking at the two anxious and worried pretty faces on the screen, Yang Hui smiled very sunny and confidently. We will be fine, just wait for our good news at home. Yes, we must come back. Wang and Wang Liu nodded. Yang Hui's smile always gave them courage. Don't worry, I haven't married you yet. After the communication ended, the smiles on the faces of the two women disappeared, and they were still worried. Miss Wang, Miss Wang, believe in Mr. Mellon, he will definitely be able to do it. Yes, Mr. Mellon is the most powerful, and the Joint Army can't do anything to him. With Mr. Mellon here, everyone will definitely return safely. Everyone comforted them. In their hearts, Mellon is Optimus Prime. As long as he is there will be no problems. Yes, we believe in him. In the Joint Command Center of the military exercise, Katie was watching the battle briefing, listening to the reports of his subordinates, and thinking about the subsequent combat deployment. The initial strike was successful, and the 5 Gundams have successfully reunited. The 5 Gundams are at coordinates TF 4122. Increase and maintain long-range fire suppression, and don't let the Gundam move an inch. Understood. Increase and maintain long-range fire suppression. Did you really choose a place where the troops are weak? Jiuzhou, your defeat is certain. Now that you're in the trap, don't even think about getting out. Katie thought so and continued to issue orders. Let the 23rd, 35th, 67th, and 91st MIS units go out. Understood. The 23rd, 35th, 67th, and 91st MIS units go out. Repeat. The 23rd, 35th, 67th, and 91st MIS units go out. The order has been passed down, and Katie watched one MIS after another go out. After 5 hours of fire suppression, even if the Gundam itself still has no major damage, the driver's physical strength and energy have been greatly reduced, but it's not enough. According to Katie's plan, at least they have to continue to consume them until they are completely exhausted, and then it's time to really take action. Colonel. The reconnaissance team at coordinates JA 8892 has lost its signal. What happened? Is there any report? No. The feather plane has appeared. Order the 9th MIS Battalion, the 10th MIS Battalion, the 11th MIS Battalion, and the 12th MIS Battalion to go out. The reconnaissance troops lock on to the location of the feather plane. After the 10th to 30th long-range strike troops lock on to the location of the feather plane, immediately carry out long-range fire strikes. Order the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th MIS Battalions to enter Level 1 alert and be ready to attack. Understood. In the opposite direction, on the other side of the entire exercise site, the patrol team lost contact. It must be Yang Hui who went out. Katie could guess without any subsequent confirmation. Moreover, that direction was originally the area with the most concentrated and strongest forces. The reason why the Secret Angel appeared in that area is self-evident. Don't die, Yang Hui. Katie was worried and excited. She was worried that Yang Hui would get into trouble, but she was also excited that Yang Hui would be defeated by her. This contradictory psychology made Katie excited. Oh my, have we been discovered already? This is a perfect reconnaissance circle. But it's good that we were discovered earlier. I can help Setsuna and the others attract more firepower earlier. I just don't know how many troops are prepared here to stop me. Yang Hui shot down 2 reconnaissance thug and continued to move in the direction of Setsuna and the others. However, after walking less than 10 kilometers, the radar alarm sounded loudly. Yang Hui looked at the radar and couldn't help but swear. Wakwanima. Katie, are you going to murder your husband? Soon, the airtight missile wall was visible to the naked eye. Yang Hui quickly pulled the joystick and released the gun-shaped GN bit, maintaining ultra-low altitude flight while clearing the missile coverage. While dodging and destroying the missiles on the way, Malin successfully passed the first barrier, but just after passing through the baptism of missiles, long-range artillery fire descended from all directions. Hello. Got it. Got it. The 2 chubby hairs replied with their ears flapping, and at the same time unfolded the shield-shaped GN bits on their backs, blocking the artillery attacks that were about to hit. These 2 hairs were specially set up by Yang Hui. They were equipped with a micro-quantum link system, which could be directly connected to Veda, and then input the combat data of Yang Hui and the Secret Angel. They were the dedicated hairs for the Secret Angel and Yang Hui, and could simulate Yang Hui's operating style to assist him. If it were an ordinary hero, it would not be able to keep up with his reaction speed. But just after advancing not far, another wave of missiles covered, then artillery, and then missiles, like layers of walls, blocking Yang Hui in front of him. After penetrating one layer, there were no telling how many layers behind him were blocking him. This is not a solution. We must reduce their fire support points. After determining the combat plan, Yang Hui stepped on the pedal to the bottom, and the GN particles pushed forward at full speed, heading towards the direction of the artillery fire. Shuttled through the narrow gaps of dense artillery fire, like a dancing butterfly, surrounded by tough spider webs, and if you are not careful, you may fall into the web and become a delicious meal on the predator's plate. Found it. The sword-type GN bit is deployed. The 8 pieces of skirt armor separated and fell into one of the firepower points with a cold light. Shuttled and cut, more than a dozen artillery-type Iron Man were all divided into 2 halves. Not only that, several beams fell and hit the ammunition depot, directly detonated, and completely abolished the firepower point. According to the design radius, it should be an arc. Haha, Katie, your web was broken by me. Yang Hui was still confident that because he was close to the enemy's firepower network range, in order to avoid accidentally hurting friendly forces, it would be impossible to cover a large area of firepower like before. He could take this opportunity to completely tear apart the firepower network surrounding him. But before he could be proud for long, Yang Hui cursed again, because the alarm sounded again, and this time it was no longer a layer of firepower coverage, but a swarm of Miss troops. Katie. I must find a chance to spank you after this. Yang Hui cursed loudly, while driving the Secret Angel towards other firepower points whose locations he had predicted. The Miss troops were only here to entangle him, and their mobility was much stronger than that of the firepower points. They could attack or defend, and they could not give the firepower points a chance to move. They would destroy as many as they could. Chapter 67 The Person Who Should Not Appear. Haha, the battle has already begun. For 15 hours. Haha, really? At least let us have a meal. How long will this offensive last? 10 hours have passed since the reunion, and although they are not completely pinned to the spot, they are also unable to move. They are almost trapped in one area and have never been able to get out. As long as they have the slightest intention of escaping the fire blockade, they will be immediately suppressed by more intense firepower. After a total of 15 hours of fighting, without any rest, without even time to eat, drink, defecate or urinate, their physical strength and energy have reached the limit. Damn it, according to the planned plan, Mr. Melon should have taken away more than half of the troops. Why can they still hold on? Lyle complained. Well, this means that the troops and materials they invested this time are unprecedentedly huge. Mr. Melon must be under great pressure. According to Miss Wong's prediction, the enemy's elite troops are coming. At that time, the enemy's fire suppression will definitely weaken. That's our chance. Neil shot down a few bombing, actual combat type, and thug type, and said to everyone. Understood. X4. At the other end of the battlefield, Yang Hui didn't remember how many firepower points he had destroyed and how many Miz he had shot down. He was sweating all over his face, and the whole person looked like he had been fished out of the water. A few traces of fatigue flashed in his sharp eyes. Haha, so many have been destroyed. Why hasn't the offensive weakened? Shooted down 321 MIS and destroyed 75 firepower points. Harrow reported to Yang Hui very considerately. Hello, don't say this meaningless report. As he finished speaking, Yang Hui fired guns and cannons and shot down more than a dozen misses, and completely destroyed a firepower point not far away. Got it. Got it. Damn it, I don't know what happened to Setsuna. Yang Hui complained, but found that the enemy's fire suppression began to weaken rapidly and became silent, and more MIS troops appeared within the radar detection range. Haha, is this because they are running out of supplies, or are they trying to catch me? This is not in line with Katie's style. Although the tone was casual, Yang Hui's vigilance was already at its highest. If it was Katie's command, she would definitely know that if she wanted to catch him, the cost of just one Gundam would definitely be greater than that of dealing with 5 Gundams, and once there was a mistake, the entire operation would be ruined. Moreover, all the MIS of the Revolutionary League in the Union present began to retreat, and the ones who stayed and suddenly appeared were all AEUs, thug style, and formulated style. Did they lose power? No. There should be another commander in secret, haha, interesting. Yang Hui casually shot down several, thug style, and formulated style, that rushed towards him, letting the GN bits surround him, ready to fight his way out. However, seeing that there were only 6 gun type and 2 sword type GN bits left, and the others were destroyed in the previous battle, Yang Hui was a little helpless. The weakening of firepower and the consumption of physical strength and energy made him lose the confidence to enter the transformer mode. Damn old man, can't you remove the seal of Trans AM in advance? Yang Hui cursed after fighting his way out of a bloody road, but the gap he created with great difficulty could not be filled immediately, and he was forced back into the encirclement again. The secret angel dancing in the hail of bullets could no longer perfectly avoid all attacks at this time. The secret angel, which had been intact since its first appearance, was also covered with scorch marks and scratches. At the temporary command center of the military exercise, Katie also received relevant reports and immediately contacted his superiors to ask what was going on. Colonel Mannequin, you only need to be responsible for the 5 Gundams gathered together. The feather machine on the other side will be taken over by someone else. Who is in charge of the command? Why didn't you inform me in advance? This will disrupt all my combat deployments. Are you questioning your superiors? Colonel Mannequin, watch your attitude. I'm very sorry, sir. Katie bowed her head and apologized, but her eyes were filled with angry flames. All her deployments were based on the comparison between the enemy and us, and the combat plan that could cause the least loss. If she arranged a secret force or divided her command power, she would have no objection at all, but this also needs to be informed in advance. Suddenly someone came to intervene, her deployment was disrupted, and 15 hours of hard work might be wasted. Humph, this is an order, you must execute it, and I hope you can achieve the corresponding results. After the communication ended, Katie punched the command desk with a bang, and her angry expression looked like she wanted to kill someone. Colonel, urgent communication request. Who is it from? The other side's unit number shows. Lieutenant Gary Baiki of the Foreign Legion. What? Foreign Legion? Katie was shocked. Because of the large number of rebellions by the Foreign Legion before, the Foreign Legion was not involved in this joint military exercise, and they were even required to be controlled by force during the exercise. But why would someone from the Foreign Legion access the specially set up communication network and have the right to contact the headquarters directly? Katie had a bad premonition and connected to the emergency communication. She wanted to see who this Lieutenant Gary Baiki was. After the communication was connected, Katie immediately recognized Lieutenant Gary Baiki and became even more angry. Ali Al-Sasses. Sasses' name is well known even within the AEU military. Although he is a self-taught man, he has a driving level that exceeds that of the internal elites and ace pilots. He is cunning and insidious, good at self-preservation, but likes to provoke wars, which is completely contrary to the concept of the army. Therefore, many people hate him, including Katie. It is for this reason that Katie rejected the recommendation of the upper echelons to let him join the Gundam Survey Corps. Long time no see, Colonel Mannequin. Why are you in the exercise area? Foreign Legion should be restricted to domestic camps. Hey, don't look so scary. The reason why I am here is because of the orders of my superiors. I dare not violate military orders. Facing Katie's murderous gaze, Sasses pretended to be afraid but actually said indifferently. What? My superiors ordered me to take over the feather machine, and Colonel Mannequin will be in charge of the other 5 Gundams. How is this possible? How can the higher-ups let you take over the command? This is true, Colonel. You can confirm with your superiors, but before you confirm, I have to deal with the feather machine first. I hope you can finish it before catching the feather machine, that's all. Wait? Without giving Katie a chance, Sashes ended the communication directly. Katie punched the command desk again. Call your superiors immediately to ask why Sashes has the command. Request your superiors to return the command. Understood. Katie gritted her teeth. People like Sashes have no military honor at all. Everything he did was for himself. If he really had the command, whether he could catch the secret angel was another matter, but the losses would definitely be very heavy. He has never learned to cherish the lives of his comrades. As long as he can achieve his goal, it is normal for him to sacrifice all his troops. Colonel, at the appointed time, Special 1, Special 2, and Special 3 MIS units request to attack. Katie controlled her emotions. If it was really an order from her superior, she would have done everything she could. Instead of getting angry at her superior's stupidity, she should complete the current mission first. Permission granted, Special 1, Special 2, and Special 3 MIS units will attack immediately and execute Plan A1. Understood. Chapter 68, The Killer Weapons Are Out. After Katie's order was issued, UINON's aircraft carrier fleet and the Beyond Flag unit were getting impatient. Captain, you really made us wait so long. After 15 hours of consumption, we will definitely be able to defeat the Gundam this time. Tisk, they made us wait so long, are they looking down on us? The commander of AWA is an idiot. Unlike Howard Mason and Daryl Dodge's excitement, Joshua, who was newly transferred to the unit, was dissatisfied. He looked down on Graham from the beginning and was arrogant. In his opinion, Gundam didn't need to be so troublesome. He could defeat Gundam by himself. Graham, who was just a name and accidentally killed his old boss, was not worthy of carrying his shoes. Don't be careless. The commander-in-chief this time is Colonel Katie Mannequin of AEU. You should have heard of her reputation. If you are dissatisfied, you can report to her directly. Graham said. Tisk, just watch me perform. With this flag grabber, you don't have to go on stage at all. As soon as the voice fell, Joshua's flag grabber took the lead on the runway and headed for the Gundam. Joshua. Damn it, all machines are in an emergency attack, follow Joshua. Graham knew that Joshua had always been unhappy with him and did not recognize the captain's identity, but he was a soldier and he was in charge of executing orders first. The relationship between him and the team members could be slowly improved, but if the operation failed because of personal behavior, it would be troublesome. Is the Gundam really that easy to deal with? Professor Elfman and Billy Katagiri knew the specific data of the Gundam through Veda, and knew how terrible it was. Even the most advanced flag bearer, without a GN drive would be beaten. Even the conclusion given by the technical department that didn't know everything was at least one level higher than the flag bearer and flag grabber. Captain Joshua. Howard Mason and Daryl Dodge respected Graham very much and could not bear to see Joshua's arrogance, so they wanted to persuade Graham to leave it alone and let him go to die. But Graham interrupted them immediately. Joshua is also one of us, a flag fighter, we can't watch him go to die. Understood. XN this time, it was not only Howard Mason and Daryl Dodge who answered Graham, but the entire, Beyond the Flag, team. They were all elites from various units. Although they were not as flamboyant as Joshua, they were definitely dissatisfied, so they had been watching from the sidelines before. But at this time, the captain who could put aside personal grudges and care about his teammates also won their initial recognition. In the desert, the top military troops were stationed. Colonel, is this the order to go out? Soma Pires heard the emergency order to go out and immediately ran to Sergei to ask. Yes, it's our turn, Lieutenant Pires, this time. I will definitely complete the mission this time, because this is the value of my existence here. Soma Pires added automatically without waiting for Sergei to finish, and did not give Sergei a chance to refute, turning around and running towards her own body. The last time the Gundam capture operation failed, the Superman Agency was destroyed, and all her compatriots died. She tried hard to prove her own value, and she wanted to show the value of super soldiers to the higher-ups, so that her compatriots would not be secretly executed because of their worthlessness. But now, everything was destroyed by celestial being, and it was the only remaining super soldier. Looking at Soma Pierce's impulsive and resentful back, Sergei subconsciously wanted to call her back, but after thinking about it, he withdrew his hand. What can I say if I call her back? Say that I am also a part of celestial being? Celestial being agency should be destroyed? Or what? Sergei was also in a headache. The Superman agency was destroyed, and Soma Pierce was homeless. He was thinking about whether he could find a sister for Andre, but now, I really look forward to what Soma Pierce's expression will be when he learns the truth after the first phase of the plan is completed. Forget it, let's talk about it later. Sergei exhaled a foul breath and temporarily put aside these anxieties. At present, it is more important to carry out the mission first. The fire suppression stopped, and Neil made a prompt decision to command all the machines to retreat together. Separate and evacuate. No. Neil immediately interrupted Tiiri's proposal. Mr. Mellon said that we must not separate. The opponent's elite troops have been dispatched. If we separate, they will only be defeated one by one. But this is inconsistent with Veda's plan. Listen to me. Even if Veda knows our situation, they can't notify us in real time. Understood. Enemy attack. Not long after the 5 Gundams were moving at full speed, the radar detected enemies attacking from 3 directions. The AEU direction is the weakest. Let's break out in the direction of Union. Lock-in. Tiiri couldn't help but shout. Forget the first time, but the second time? Is this targeting me? Only AEU doesn't have a new MIS, so it's the weakest. Isn't it the best direction to break out? Stupid, do you think the other commander is a fool? Can't you see such an obvious loophole? They must have reserved a backup plan. Maybe it's a trap waiting for us to get in. Then Union. Although Union also has new MIS, it succeeded too late and the number is small. Or do you want to go to the MIS battalion of the 2 to Revolutionary League? Understood. Tiiri gave up. He couldn't find an excuse to refute. Moreover, he wanted to take revenge on the MIS battalion of the 2 to Revolutionary League, but it was obviously not the time. What's wrong? Alleluia. Alleluia's scream came from the communication, and the leading archangel even fell to the ground, giving the 4 people a big shock. Here they come. Super soldiers are coming. Alleluia said with difficulty, enduring the pain of the needle. Super soldiers? Could it be? Sure enough, the People's Revolutionary League's troops took the lead and appeared on the screen. The first ones were Sergei's, BYE, and Soma Pierce's, Vanguard, special suits. At the same time, the Beyond the Flag troops also appeared in front, forming a 2-sided attack. Too fast. Everyone's face turned very ugly. The top force troops were in the opposite direction of the Beyond the Flag troops. They had been moving in the direction of the Beyond the Flag troops, hoping to break through the encirclement directly with their performance advantage. Who knew that the top force troops had already caught up? Break out. Tactical formation S90, hallelujah, let hallelujah out. But, hurry up. God, solved. Haha, are you finally willing to let me out? Hallelujah. Hallelujah, who had switched his personality, licked his lips and looked at the MIS approaching from 2 directions. She's worth killing, especially that woman. Stop. Hallelujah. Let's break out together. Now is not the time to fool around. Seeing that the Archangel was about to get up and rush towards the top weapon troops, the Delandi brothers held down the Archangel tacitly. Don't stop me, I'm the commander, appointed by Mr. Mellon. The arrogant Hallelujah was scared. Even if he made a mistake, he hid in his body, and it was Hallelujah who suffered. What did Hallelujah have to do with him? But, who knew that Yang Hui was also a user of brain quantum waves, and now he could even force Hallelujah out of his body directly, so he was not afraid of anyone but Yang Hui. Tisk, I get it, I will follow the order. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 69, Fierce Fight. The Archangel fell to the ground, delaying the Gundam team's progress. Both sides also seized this opportunity to engage the Gundam. I will take the Gundam's first blood without any hesitation. Joshua's flag capture took the lead and rushed to the Gundam's position without caring about anything. Joshua. Wait. I don't recognize you as my captain. Don't try to order me. Joshua swayed left and right, dodging the Archangel's anti-air sniper with pride, and was about to rush in front of the opponent. Got it. The smug smile froze on his face, becoming the last picture of his life. The GN sword mercilessly pierced the flag capture's chest from behind, and also pierced Joshua's body. Swish, flag capture was cut off, exploding with sparks, which was also the signal to announce the start of the battle. Joshua. Damn it. Maintain formation B. Graham gave the order, breaking out of the formation alone, and rushing towards the Archangel. It's like I'm hugging you tightly. Gundam. After a long battle, everyone's fingers began to numb, allowing the flag bearer to easily pass through the firepower net and come to the front of the Angel of Exa, and fight with it. Oh. The huge impact made Setsuna groan, and he held the joystick tightly to prevent the Angel of Exa from being overturned by this force. Setsuna. The cherubim immediately pointed the muzzle of the gun at the flag bearer, trying to force it back, but the shooting from the sky followed and suppressed the cherubim. Lyle. Don't look around. Gundam. Graham found that the power of the Angel of Exa suddenly loosened a little, and pushed the joystick with a roar. The flag bearer's thrusters burst into flames, and it was about to push the Angel of Exa out of the formation. Oh, don't touch me. Setsuna came to his senses and roared back at the other party. The green light of the GN particles dyed the surroundings with the color of life. The vibration of the GN sword became more and more intense, directly sweeping away the plasma sword. What? Graham was stunned for a moment, and in amazement, he controlled the flag bearer to retreat in a ghostly manner, avoiding the supporting shooting of the Archangel. In just this moment, the top weapon troops had already rushed up, and the others, like the members of the Beyond the Flag troops, were wandering around the periphery to cover Graham, and they were divided into a large number of 3 teams wandering around the back way, and, entrapment, special suits directly broke away from the main force and came to the front of the Gundam. Your opponent is me. Woman. You are here. The entrapment, special suit collided with the Archangel, separated from each other, and then collided again. Hallelujah. Seeing this, the Power Angel was about to support, but was entangled by the back way. Oh, this won't do. You can't disturb them. Tisk, this is really difficult. The Archangel put away the GN sniper rifle and held 2 GN pistols in his hands. Hello, I'll leave the maneuvering and defense to you. Leave it to me, leave it to me. One by one. Seeing everyone getting into a fight, T-Iria became more and more angry. In this situation, the GN cannon in his hand lost its effect. First, he was not good at accurate shooting, and second, the power of the GN cannon was too great, and it would definitely hurt friendly forces by mistake. Calm down, T-Iria, we are responsible for cleaning up the other enemies. The cherubim and the devil stood back to back, dealing with the enemy planes that were constantly approaching. I want to use Natter. No. Seeing that T-Iria was about to act impulsively, Lyle stopped him immediately. Natter can indeed change the situation and let us break through directly, but this is still an enemy-occupied area, and there is no time to recover the armor. Damn. T-Iria was also afraid of using his weapons. All the information of the Gundam was top secret, and even the most worthless outer armor must not be left to the enemy. He fired his guns like a vent, destroying 2 or 3. Vault. Please, the ground troops, the capture miss is here, and we must not let them get close. While saying to Lyle, the GN rapid-fire cannons on his shoulders kept firing into the air, shooting several flag capturers into sieves. Understood. With the firepower of the Angels, the threat in the air was greatly reduced. He fired with 2 guns continuously. Although the numbness of his fingers caused the hit rate to drop, it was still accurate, especially the capture type, thug style, that approached secretly. As long as they moved forward to open the electromagnetic shield, the machine would be destroyed and the people would die immediately. But with the arrival of the AAU troops, the number of enemies increased, and they became trapped again. No, we must break out quickly, otherwise we will be exhausted here. Lyle said. He could clearly feel that his hit rate was decreasing, Hunger and fatigue filled his brain. Bang, bang, bang. Ugh, they are entangled, and we can't support them. Tieria said painfully. Tieria, I will buy you some time. Can you open another passage? Lyle asked anxiously. Charging time is 170. Too long. Lyle was also very anxious. The Archangel, Power Angel and Archangel were entangled by the opponent's elite trump cards and could not get away at all. They did not dare to support them. Once they relaxed the suppression of the large army, even if they forced back the opponent's trump cards, they would still be in danger of being captured. I want to use Natter. Tieria. Do you have any other ideas? Facing Tieria's questioning, Lyle could not answer. The current situation was indeed very dangerous. The opponent did not even need to actively capture them. They could drag them down by delaying. Please. Understood. Tieria's eyes turned colorful and entered the transformer mode. Just as he was about to pass the final verification, a thick black and red beam of light cut into the battlefield, cutting the encirclement in half like a meat pie, and a gap was immediately opened in the unsolvable encirclement. What? The air seemed to stop flowing, and even time seemed to be still. Everyone was attracted by the sudden attack. On the other side of the battlefield, the wreckage of Miz was everywhere, densely covering the forest, and the smoke was filled, like a bonfire everywhere. While panting, the beam sword cut off two thugs, again. Yang Hui looked around at the thugs, troops surrounding him, and finally locked his eyes on the last, Aglissa, 13. Hello. Report on the status of the machine. All shield-type GN bits are destroyed, all gun-type GN bits are destroyed, 2 sword-type GN bits remain, external armor is damaged by 51%, 40% of GN particles remain, 2 armed GN swords remain, and 2 waste GN cannons. Big crisis. Big crisis. Haha, of course I know. Yang Hui flicked another fanning the flames at hello unhappily, and his mood eased a little. At this time, seeing that the secret angel no longer moved, Aglissa, came from Sasha's voice. Hey, monster, are you finally going to die? How many people have you killed? You must be tired, right? How about you surrender and give me the Gundam? If you haven't killed enough, we still have some here. Although there are not many, there are still 100 or 200. Haha. Yang Hui sneered at Sasha's persuasion to surrender. Yang Hui's killing intention towards Sash had reached its peak for the scum who had been hiding in the back and letting his own people die. It is because of people like you that this world is so twisted. Yang Hui murmured, I can't kill you this time, but you can't catch me either. Just as he finished speaking, a black and red beam of light came from behind Aglissa, directly piercing Aglissa. If it weren't for Sasha's immediately cutting off the connection between Formula and the MA below, and then subconsciously dodging a few times, he would have really confessed. What's going on? Tisk, is it finally here? Angel of the Throne. Yang Hui saw the familiar yet unfamiliar Gundam in the sky, and finally smiled. Chapter 70 Safe Retreat. Hey, you look so embarrassed. I'm the pilot of the Secret Angel. I'm Michael Trinity, the pilot of the Thornsweater Gundam Unit 2. Remember this? After introducing himself, Michael arrogantly rushed into the group of thugs. The 8 GN fangs on his legs flew out, floating like falling petals, slashing, stabbing, or shooting. At this time, the spider and the butterfly exchanged their identities. The 8 GN fangs were like the 8 spiked long legs of the spider, piercing and hunting the thugs that were fleeing in the air. Hoo. Run away quickly. Miscellaneous soldiers. Ha. This naughty kid. Looking at Michael who was killing like crazy, Yang Hui had a headache and immediately connected the communication of the Thornsweater Unit 2. That's enough, kid, retreat quickly. Don't order me, you're in such a mess, it's really embarrassing. Yang Hui, if it weren't for the fact that he was still in danger, even if he was exhausted after fighting for more than 10 hours, the damage to the Secret Angel was quite serious. Yang Hui would have wanted to cut him into a stick and let him feel the beating from society. You can continue to play if you want, I'm retreating first. After saying that, the Secret Angel turned around and left, leaving the Angel Unit 2 to continue playing. If his guess was correct, Sasha's was the commander who was solely responsible for capturing the Secret Angel. Now that Sasha's had escaped, the command system of the entire army was in a mess. After Katie learned about it, she would definitely take over the command again. At that time, It would be a problem whether the Angel Unit 2 could still escape. Tisk, coward. Michael sneered complacently. He pretended not to see the wreckage on the ground, but he saw that the secret angel was in ruins and Yang Hui was in a mess, and evacuated with his help. Mikhail. Mikhail wanted to continue to go crazy, but John Trinity answered his call. Brother John. Is the mission completed? When the people completed it, the pilot of the secret angel had already fled. We have completed it here, retreat immediately. I haven't had enough fun yet. Follow the order, we are Gundam messengers. Understood. Mikhail was very unhappy, but he still listened to his elder brother's words, and could only harvest another wave of prey and then move towards the evacuation point. After using the GN Mega Particle Cannon to open the retreat path, the Archangel Unit 1 and Unit 3 disconnected, and Unit 1 continued to use the long-range GN cannon to carry out long-range sniping, not only tearing the breakthrough larger, but also forcing back the enemies fighting with the Archangel, and the Archangel. Gundam Messenger of Celestial Being, please reply if you receive it. This is the Archangel, who are you? Neil answered the call and seized the opportunity. The 5 units broke through the breakthrough together. We are the Gundam messengers of the Archangel Gundam. Now is not the time to chat? Retreat immediately. Understood. Thank you for your support. After the communication ended, John contacted Nina of Unit 3. Nina, GN particles are dispersed to the maximum area. Evacuate the current airspace. Understood. GN particles are dispersed to the maximum area. The Archangel Unit 3 rose into the air, and 6 large nozzles on its body emitted red light. High concentration GN particles gushed out, like 6 crimson wings spread out, and the crimson light directly covered the entire exercise area. Invisible force field, deploy. You said a new Gundam appeared again? Katie asked in shock. Yes, because of the enemy's reinforcements, the main force failed to successfully capture the Gundam. Failure. How could it be? Katie was not shocked by the failure to capture the Gundam. According to the planned plan, the probability of the Gundam successfully breaking through was still more than 40%, so there was a possibility of failure in the plan. What really shocked him was the new Gundam that appeared. There was no information about the new Gundam in the Veda database. Where did it come from? Could it be that it was newly built in secret? Did they conceal the information? As soon as this idea came up, Katie abandoned it. Even if it was secretly built as a trump card, the information would also be uploaded to the Veda database. As one of the supervisors specially recruited by Yang Hui, she had extremely high reading privileges, and this kind of information would not be concealed from her. Red GN particles, a completely different design style. Wait? Could it be? Katie thought of Yang Hui telling them that there were traitors in the Celestial organization, and there was also a second phase of the first phase plan. In other words, they are the catalysts that exist in the plan, and the second phase has started directly. Colonel. What's wrong? The interference area of two-way communication is rapidly expanding. Tisk, could it be that these Gundams also have the ability to spread GN particles over a large area? It's really troublesome. Katie thought to herself. There is no other way to lock onto the Gundam except by sight. I know that. Send out the reserve communication unit to contact the main force immediately, and the whole army will begin to retreat. Colonel. Communications are hampered, and the various units cannot contact each other. The performance and capabilities of the newly emerged Gundam are unknown. If we fail to capture the Gundam, we will lose the opportunity. The whole army will retreat. Understood. Everyone in the command room felt unwilling to accept this. They were about to succeed. The invincible Gundam was brought down from the altar by their efforts. All those who participated in the battle and survived would become heroes of their countries. At the same time, with the Gundam, the technological level of each country would be rapidly improved. All of this was clearly within reach, but in just a short moment, the beautiful dream was completely shattered. Colonel. The situation suddenly changed. The Gundam had broken through and left. Pyrrhus didn't care about anything else and came to Sergei's side. Retreat in an orderly manner. Sergei ordered. Colonel, let me pursue them. Now. It's useless. The operation has failed. The newly appeared Gundam is still a mystery. Moreover, the communication blockage has expanded. We can't get in touch with friendly forces. We can only retreat. But this is an order. Understood. Phase 2. It seems that the traitors have finally started to act. Sergei took a last look at the red sky and confirmed in his heart. Damn it. Randy, Steward, Richter. I will avenge you. Graham led the remaining troops to retreat towards the fleet. Joshua was careless and asked for death. It was understandable that he was killed. But the others basically died in the sneak attack of the Archangel Gundam, and he also guessed that this unusual GN particle, a completely different style of Gundam, was a traitor from Celestial Being. Celestial Being, troops are comrades who lead the change. It is not easy for him to take action, but there is no need to worry about the traitors. He wants to avenge his dead teammates. Chapter 71. The beginning of the second phase. Wang and the others who were anxiously waiting in the villa finally received good news, which made the heavy stone hanging in their hearts fall. Hello, sent an encrypted communication. All 6 Gundams are alive and well, and are returning to the 6th hiding place in the Pacific Ocean. Great. We worried for nothing. Everything is fine. The mission is finally over, Sister Wang. Wang Liumei breathed a sigh of relief and looked at Wang with joy, but found that Wang was still frowning. Sister Wang, what's wrong with you? Wang Liumei asked, and everyone else looked at Wang. Logically, the Gundam messengers were all fine, and she should be the happiest, because all the plans were made by her, and Yang Hui was also in it. The second stage has begun. Wang murmured softly. What? Wang Liumei's face changed, but she immediately returned to normal when she thought of the other people around her. Miss Wang, what are you talking about? Rishi asked. Because the voice was too low, no one except Wang Liumei and Hong Long around him could hear it, but they still saw the strangeness of the two. Nothing, pack up and prepare to return to the universe. Christina, tell Ian to prepare for repairs. Understood. After Wang and Wang Liumei left, Lishidi said, Miss Wang is hiding something from us, right? You found out too. Christina was the first to respond. Don't ask, maybe it's some confidential information, we just need to do our job well. Lass interrupted the discussion and turned to the room to pack up. The same was true for Felute. She had not yet fully learned what it meant to think for herself. She just needed to follow orders. But, aren't you curious? Christina asked. No. Felute shook her head. I only know that Miss Wang and Mr. Main will not harm us, that's enough. Hearing this, Christina and Lishidi looked at the backs of the two and fell into deep thought. When they came to the underground space, Wang Liumei's expression was out of control and she looked sad. Sister Wang, has the second phase really begun? According to the predictions of Veda and I, this battle will inevitably lose 1 or 2 Gundams, but all of them are still alive and well. Something unexpected must have happened. How could it be? Before, I had only heard Yang Hui talk about the entire Celestial Being plan. At the end of the first phase, the Celestial Being troops would become abandoned and used as sacrifices for the unification of the world. I was really surprised when I first learned about it, but I slowly forgot about it as time passed. But now, it has really entered the second small phase with the most controversy, and Wang Liumei is afraid again. We don't know the specific situation yet, but Yang Hui and I have reached a conclusion on the follow-up plan. If something unexpected really happens, we will improve the plan. Wang looked at Wang Liumei's frightened face, walked over gently and hugged her. Don't worry, believe us, believe Yang Hui, we will be fine. Well, I believe you, but Miss Wang, when will you tell them? Wang Liumei asked. The sudden appearance of the new Gundam and the strange behavior of the two will surely make the people in the Me2 army suspicious. They are already in a difficult situation with the whole world as their enemy. If there is more chaos inside, it will be really troublesome. Don't worry, I will calm their emotions during this period before and after the end of the second small stage. Yes, I will also investigate the intelligence of the traitor as soon as possible, and I will also contact Professor Elfman and others about the movements within the 3 countries. Yes. The world's largest scale Gundam capture operation failed. Due to the joint blockade of the 3 parties, civilians did not know what happened, but the top leaders of each country all had a sour face and were afraid of Me2 and Gundam for the first time. There were only 6 Gundams, and it was possible to capture 1 or 2 with the efforts of the 3 countries, but now 3 new Gundams have appeared, a total of 9 Gundams, which is hard for them to accept. And according to the combat records, the operation was about to succeed, but the sudden appearance of the 3 angels disrupted all the deployments, which made them guess that all this was planned by Celestial Being. who knew all their intelligence from the beginning. Such a terrible intelligence ability frightened them more than the 9 Gundams, and they even began to suspect that there were spies from the celestial being organization around them. The appearance of the 3 angels shocked not only the world's top leaders, but also the supervisors of the celestial being organization. Alessandro Corner is not yet ready to launch the operation. The crucial Veda has not been found, and Veda's authority has not been seized. He must continue to hide himself and play the role of the most loyal supervisor. The remote meeting started, and before approving the 3 angels, the supervisors and supporters reviewed all the mission records after the appearance of celestial being. My personal emergency was serious. He was in a tough fight with a Gundam and was almost captured. He was really out of control. Where is the person in charge of the plan, Mirren Stewart? How is he in charge of the plan? The results were not good, and he mobilized a lot of funds and materials back and forth. According to the battle records, Mirren Stewart performed his duties perfectly, whether as a commander or a Gundam messenger. According to the records, according to Mirren Stewart's plan, the world's approval rate of the actions of the celestial being force has been on the rise, an increase of 37 percentage points compared to the first mission period. As a Gundam messenger, Mirren Stewart's record is amazing. He fought independently into Libya and suppressed the Libya garrison and UINON's fleet with only 1 machine. In large-scale joint military exercises, he destroyed more than 500 MISs and hundreds of large and small firepower points with a single machine. Although he did not directly take action in other tasks, he was always on standby nearby as the ultimate trump card. So I judge that Mirren Stewart fulfilled his duties perfectly. Alessandro Konakin reported. I see. That's really impressive. But I can't shirk my responsibility this time. It's not a dereliction of duty. This is a conspiracy of the People's Revolutionary League, UINON and AEU. We can't avoid it, otherwise all our previous efforts will be ruined. I agree. I agree too. But it is an undeniable fact that the execution of the celestial being troops and the Gundam has declined. Then everyone, let's get back to the original topic. The plan is about to enter the second phase. Do you recognize the identities of the 3 Archangel Gundams and the 3 unknown Gundam messengers? Gundams outside the Veda plan. I agree. As the second force to support the first force in executing the plan, I agree. As long as the plan can be implemented, I agree. I admit it. Alessandro Corner's proposal was agreed by all the supervisors. He raised his lips, and his most important move was successful. In this case, the celestial being plan officially enters the second phase. Chapter 72 Snatch It Away. At the same time, the Trinity brothers also reviewed all the operations and missions of the celestial beings so far. Although they did not think that they were inferior to the Gundam envoys of the celestial beings, as juniors, they still had to learn about the deeds of their predecessors, so as not to miss any details and get slapped in the face when they met. Tisk, you didn't realize how powerful they were? If it was left to me, I would have beaten them up long ago. Michael was arrogant after hearing what John said. That's right, they are still very naive. They don't kill them until the moment of danger. If they are enemies, just kill them directly. Nina agreed. Don't underestimate them, especially him. John called up Yang Hui's information. Tisk, brother John, you think too highly of him. Isn't he just a coward? Michael thought of the scene of Yang Hui retreating directly when he saw Yang Hui, and couldn't help but sneer. Fighting for 15 hours, destroying a total of 591 misses, 98 fire points, and withstanding a large amount of saturation fire coverage. Oh, are you kidding? After this record was reported, Michael was no longer arrogant, and Nina was also dumbfounded. This is the combat data recorded by Veda, you can take a look for yourself. John did not intend to persuade the two with words, and directly played Yang Hui's combat record. 15 hours, from the disdain in the first second, to the horror in the middle, and then to the numbness in the end. Even the usually calm John couldn't help but shudder. Gulp this, is this something a human can do? Michael swore that if he knew this before, he would never be arrogant in front of Yang Hui. He might be stupid, but he was not stupid. In this kind of battle, let alone achieving the same record, it was a question whether he could survive, and from the combat record, it can be seen that there are many opportunities for the Secret Angel to retreat directly, but the Secret Angel did not. Instead, he took the initiative to go deep into the enemy's firepower encirclement. But why didn't he evacuate? Nina asked. This is the intelligence provided by Veda. In order to capture the Gundam, the People's Revolutionary League, the Union, and the AEU dispatched more than 1,000 MIS units alone, not counting all kinds of auxiliary units. If it weren't for the secret angels who pinned down most of the military forces in another direction, all destroyed. How miserable. I feel sorry for them for a second. At this time, Nina and Michael also understood. Although they said it happily, they recognized the abilities of the 5 Gundam messengers of the Celestial Force. So, we will meet soon. Don't be too rude. We are all Gundam messengers. I know. Michael waved his hand perfunctorily, but he was secretly worried in his heart whether Yang Hui would remember him. It's decided. He is my husband. Nina suddenly pointed at Yang Hui's photo and said nervously. Alice. What's wrong with you again? John and Michael were completely speechless about their youngest sister. What was this crazy girl trying to do with all the shock? What's the matter? He is the type I like. Handsome and strong. Nina complained with a pout. Ahem, according to the intelligence, he and the intelligence forecaster of the Celestial Force, Lee Noriega, are engaged. John said quickly. So what? Even if they are married, I can still snatch her away. Brother John, Brother Mihai, won't you help me? Won't you help your most lovely sister? Nina pretended to be wronged. It's over, there's no hope. The two brothers had this thought in their minds at the same time. On the other side, Ptolemy, all 6 Gundams have returned to space, and each one needs a major overhaul. Even though Ian was well prepared, he was still scared. Setsuna. You kicked someone again. Yes. Tieria. The armor of the Archangel is indeed very thick, but it is not indestructible. Can't you dodge a little more? It's very impressive to fight against other people's attacks, right? Sorry. Neil. Lyle. What's wrong? Well done, it's just that the GN shield is seriously damaged, but the trigger button is almost worn out by you. Forget it, small problem. Hallelujah. It's none of my business, Mr. Ian, this is all done by Hallelujah. Hallelujah? Cyrillic letter deck, that's too much? Oh, let's leave it for next time. I wanted to praise him. The Archangel has the least damage among all the machines. Oh, okay. Okay, I'll tell him. Hallelujah, D.B., this guy has good taste, melon. Yang Hui stared at Ian with dead fish eyes. He dared to guarantee that if Ian dared to teach him a lesson, he would not help Ian to repair it. Who knew that Ian just came over and patted Yang Hui on the shoulder, and said thankfully, it's good to come back safely. Yang Hui was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said, isn't this natural? Wait. Why is the secret angel the most damaged? Mr. Ian doesn't talk about Mr. Melon. The 5 people complained. If you also have this record, I won't scold you. Ian glanced at the 5 people and said. Zilla, the 5 people shut up instantly. Just kidding. That record. People are still not comparable to monsters, they are not qualified. At this time, Christina sent a message, asking all 6 people to go to the combat meeting room to hold an emergency meeting. Thank you for your hard work, Ian. I'll come and help you after the meeting. No, go and have a rest. This little job won't tire me out. Okay. I've been waiting for you to say that. You little brat. Get lost. The 6 people fled in panic. They didn't dare to provoke the furious Ian. They still had to ask Ian to repair their Gundam. If they really pissed him off, he might secretly cut off a few optical cables, which would be a shame. When they came to the combat meeting room, they naturally needed to discuss the 3 new Gundams. They are different from the 1st and 2nd generation machines. There is no Gundam in Veda's data. Does this machine really exist? Christina asked. Of course it exists. After all, I saw it with my own eyes. Neil confirmed. Yes, there are at least 3 suspected Gundam misses. As he spoke, Wong called up the data screen, which was the 3 Archangels. Although it is different from ours, it does release substances similar to GN particles. Aleluja added. That is indeed a GN particle. Yang Hui said. Everyone looked at Yang Hui. If anyone present knew the most about GN drives and GN particles, it must be Yang Hui. This is the data I got from analyzing the GN particle-like substance emitted by the angels. It is almost the same as normal GN particles in terms of energy, structure, and function, but there are also differences. The red GN particles have not been filtered through the TD filter layer, So this kind of red particles is harmful to the human body. Yang Hui explained to everyone. Then do they also have GN drives? Where did they come from? Tiria asked. According to Veda's records, except for the 7 new solar furnaces brought back by Yang Hui and the vast couple, the old solar furnaces that were eliminated were now stored in Xiangguang City, and no one had touched them. What Tiria was really afraid of was not that the solar furnaces were misappropriated, but that someone had cracked the technology of the solar furnaces. I don't know, but I have asked Wang Liumei to send someone to check. There is no doubt that the other party's solar furnace is different from the solar furnace we have. Damn. When everyone thought that the technology of the solar furnace was no longer unique to them, a stone was pressed on their hearts. Alright, cheer up. I just received a meeting request from the Trinity team. We will be able to meet soon. If you have any questions, please ask them later. Wang clapped his hands to encourage everyone. Understood. Chapter 73, Tensions. Soon, John drove the Archangel 1 and brought Michael and Nina to Ptolemy. Thank you for allowing us to land. I am John Trinity, the Gundam messenger of Archangel 1. Michael Trinity, the Gundam messenger of Archangel 2. Compared with the polite John, Michael still looked arrogant, but when his eyes fell on Yang Hui, he subconsciously shrank his body. Nina Trinity, the Gundam messenger of Archangel 3, darling. I miss you so much. Nina took off her helmet and rushed directly to Yang Hui. Huh? Everyone was dumbfounded, including Yang Hui, the person involved. Is this girl crazy? Do I know you? Oh, I seem to know you. But that's a paper man. I haven't seen you since I came to this world, okay? Thinking of this, Yang Hui subconsciously reached out and grabbed Nina's head and pushed it back again. Little girl, stop fooling around and go play with your brother. What? I like you. Handsome guy, forget about that old woman, marry me. Emperor, Cyrillic letter deck, others, Greek letter sigma, Cyrillic letter deck, sorry, I'm not interested in you. A young girl like you is not even 1/10 as good as my emperor. Yang Hui said, what a joke. This mentally twisted little girl, in terms of figure, a little bit, in terms of ability, no maturity, how can she compare to my wife? None of them can compare. The emperor felt sweet when he heard this, and at the same time took Yang Hui's arm to declare his sovereignty. Nina's face turned completely black, and her eyes exuded murderous intent. Really? Then kill her? Kill her and I can get you. As soon as these words came out, the atmosphere on the scene immediately became wrong. Setsuna and others took out their guns and pointed them at Nina, and Michael pulled out a knife and waited for battle. Calm down. Nina. Everyone, Nina is just joking, don't take it seriously. John hurriedly persuaded both sides, holding Nina's hand tightly with one hand to prevent her from drawing her gun. This is someone else's territory. We are here to pay our respects, not to fight. Besides, there are only 3 of us, so we have to count the number of people on the other side. Tisk. Nina's face turned sour, but she still relaxed her strength. The others also put away their weapons. But there was still one person who didn't intend to reveal it. Hey, little girl, let me remind you that some things can't be said carelessly, otherwise the consequences will be serious. Yang Hui said to Nina coldly. As soon as the voice fell, a strong murderous aura emanated from Yang Hui's body, making everyone present almost breathless. Michael subconsciously drew his knife and stabbed Yang Hui. Yang Hui reached out his left hand, grabbed Michael's wrist and twisted it. Michael immediately felt pain and let go of the knife. Yang Hui pulled Michael towards himself, pinched Michael's neck with his left hand, and took the flying knife with his right hand. He swung it down fiercely, stopping in front of Michael's eyes. If he moved it a little lower, he could pierce his eyeball. The atmosphere became tense again, but the steady Wang and John immediately stopped everyone. Don't move. Yang Hui glanced at John. Among the 3 siblings, he was the only one who was not bad and worth a second look. Yang Hui immediately let go of Michael's neck and pushed him back behind John, and also returned the knife to him. Kid, a knife is not a toy. Don't play with it if you don't know how to play with it. Yang Hui said coldly. What did you say? Michael looked at Yang Hui with a ferocious face, but he was afraid in his heart. The impact just now left a shadow in his heart. Speak to the right person, kid. When I was on the battlefield, you didn't even know where to play in the mud. After saying that, he gave Wang a warning and turned to walk towards the combat meeting room. Wang naturally received Yang Hui's gaze and said to the 3 calmly, If you are done with the greetings, follow me. Tisk, old woman. Nina cursed in a low voice. Nina. John was afraid that the two sides would clash again, so he shouted in a low voice. Both sides were part of the heavenly man, that's what he thought, and they might need to act together in the future. This was still the other side's territory, and they couldn't cause trouble again. And Yang Hui's murderous aura just now really scared him. No, it should be that everyone was scared, including Setsuna and others. In the perception, Yang Hui has always been a very easygoing person. Although he is sometimes bad, he is still very easygoing. But just with that murderous aura, even Setsuna, who was once a young soldier, was frightened, and even Sash's murderous aura could not compare to Yang Hui. The group came to the combat meeting room, and Wang began his routine inquiries. Why do you have Gundam? And it's not in Veda's database. I'm sorry, I can't answer that. We also have confidentiality obligations. John replied. Where did you get the solar furnace? GN driver. Wang asked again. I'm very sorry, I still can't answer that. John replied. Who is your commander? Yang Hui asked directly. Sorry, this is also confidential information. You don't have the authority. Huh? What level of confidential information is it? Even the general manager of the Heavenly Man project doesn't have the authority to know it. Yang Hui interrupted John's answer and asked. What? The three Trinity brothers and sisters were shocked. They only knew that Yang Hui was very good at driving the secret angel, but they didn't know that he was also the general manager of the Heavenly Man project. Tisk, who knows if what you said is true? Michael said stubbornly. Contact your commander immediately, otherwise I will not recognize that you are part of the Heavenly Man project. Yang Hui said coldly. But John was at a loss. They didn't know who the commander of the Trinity team was. They just received instructions from a man named Ragnar Harvey on a regular basis, and he had the link authority to Veda. As for the real commander, Ragnar Harvey clearly told them that it was not him, he was just a messenger. What's wrong? Is there any problem? Or are you pretending to be someone else? No. We don't have a commander. All our actions are instructed by Veda. This rescue mission is also a mission directly issued by Veda. John found an excuse and said. I will confirm with Veda. I hope you are telling the truth. Yang Hui didn't push too hard. The Trinity team is still useful now. The Earth is now a powder keg. Someone needs to ignite it, and the Trinity team is the best candidate. John also breathed a sigh of relief. If Yang Hui continued to ask, he really didn't know how to answer. Tisk, it's boring, Brother John, I'm going to explore the ship. Nina said to break the stiff atmosphere. Is it okay? John didn't agree directly, but asked Yang Hui and Wang. Whatever. Yang Hui spread his hands. Is it really okay? Wang and others worried. Now the true identity of the Trinity team has not been determined. If they are allowed to wander around Ptolemy, it doesn't matter. Darling still likes me. Nina laughed, but when she saw Wang next to Yang Hui, her face immediately turned sour and she opened the door and left. Is it really okay? Wang asked Yang Hui again worriedly. Whatever she can do, I'll lose. Yang Hui pulled the corner of his mouth disdainfully. The fourth round of recommendations has been obtained. On the last day of the Chinese New Year, I wish everyone a happy family and happiness and health. Chapter 74 Live in the present. The last question you must answer is, what do you plan to do with these machines? Wang asked. Of course, to eradicate war. John asked without hesitation. The greetings were over. John made it clear that the Trinity team would not join the Celestial team and would act according to Veda's instructions. The two sides would not interfere with each other. If cooperation was needed, it would be carried out according to Veda's instructions. But John and Michael were ready to leave, but they couldn't wait for Nina to come back, and no one even answered the communication. What's going on? What did you do to Nina? Michael said excitedly. This man is indeed a bear child with problems all over his body, even an incurable disease like sister control. Most likely he went to a place he shouldn't have gone to. Yang Hui sneered. What did you say? Michael's worry about Nina overcame his fear of Yang Hui for a while, and he was ready to draw his knife again, but was glared back by Yang Hui with a cold look. I'm very sorry. If Nina makes any mistakes again, I apologize for her, but please don't hurt her. John requested. Yang Hui glanced at John and said, come with me. Walking along the long corridor, Yang Hui led everyone to the door of Veda's terminal suite. Nina raised her hands pitifully. Seeing John and Michael coming, she immediately asked for help. "Brother John, Brother Michael, save me." Nina. The two were shocked, but they didn't dare to go forward, because Nina had 4 built-in Gatling guns facing her. Let alone saving people, rushing in rashly would turn them into thieves. Yang Hui took out his pad and tapped it a few times, and the Gatling guns were retracted into the wall. "I say, little girl, this ship is so big, there are so many places to play, why do you always like to risk your life?" Yang Hui earnestly educated. Darling, you are so stingy. Don't. I'm not your darling, don't yell, don't cause misunderstanding. Tisk, stingy, I will definitely snatch you away. Ahem, that, if nothing happens, we will leave first. After finding Nina, John quickly took his brothers and sisters to escape from Ptolemy. He had completely regarded this ship as a devil's cave. He wanted to use the embarrassment of the celestial troops to swear his status, but he didn't expect to be taught a lesson. He will definitely not come again. After the 3 Trinity brothers and sisters left, Wang asked Yang Hui with a strange look on his face, "Did you guess it a long time ago? I'm not a god. I just arranged defensive firepower at the important entrances and exits of the ship, such as here, the entrance to the hangar, the entrance to the bridge." Listening to this, everyone covered their faces. How crazy is this? We all admit that the first few are important entrances and exits, but what are the restaurant, entertainment room, gym, and the entrance to your and Wang's room? Are these places important entrances and exits? When everyone had left and only Wang and Yang Hui were left, Wang asked Yang Hui, "What do you think their purpose is?" Hearing this, Yang Hui raised his lips and shook his head. Igniter. Igniter. Yes, because of their appearance, the Earth is now a huge powder keg that can explode at any time. They are the igniter, and the 3 naughty kids, without adults to lead them, will definitely do something very outrageous. All the conflicts will be concentrated on them and us. They are also catalysts that will completely stimulate the conflicts. Yang Hui put his hands together. The Earth will unite, the 2nd stage will end, and we will enter the 3rd stage. The celestial beings will be completely destroyed, and the world will be unified. Wang said, biting his lip. That's right, eradicate war. Haha, interesting pseudo-proposition. There are only 2 ways to eradicate war between humans. One is to transfer internal hatred to the outside. With external enemies, the inside will naturally unite. The 3rd stage, the upcoming dialogue. That's right. When human beings really enter the universe, there will be enough external enemies for us to unite. Those who provoke wars will have endless wars to fight, and those who pursue interests will have endless cakes to share. What about the second one? Wang asked again. Humanity will die out. Huh? Without battleships and MIS, there are still tanks and fighters. Without tanks and fighters, there are still guns and cannons. Without guns and cannons, there are still swords. If there are no swords and swords, there are still sticks. At the very least, there are still fists. This is the instinct of survival. Yang Hui sighed. Wang was silent. He could not deny the correctness of what Yang Hui said. Humans are such twisted creatures that have engraved fighting in their DNA. Can't understand each other? Can't the reformers do it? Wang asked. With the help of GN particles, the transformers can directly establish the ego connection between people through brain quantum waves. This is indeed a way, but you have overlooked a premise. What premise? Are you willing to communicate? Wang was silent again. Yes, even if they can communicate, so what? Some people only want to see or hear what they are willing to accept, and they will not accept anything else, whether it is right or wrong. Forget it, these are not things we need to consider. Let's focus on the present. We will enter the third stage soon. Let's see if there are any omissions in the plan. I have promised you that everyone will survive. Yes. Wang nodded in agreement. Philosophical issues such as human complexity are not something they should consider. Even the third stage plan is a long way off. Focusing on the present is the most important thing. At this moment, Veda sent a message to Yang Hui and Malin. When they clicked it, their pupils shrank. This is it. At the base of the Beyond Flag Force, Professor Elfman was studying and analyzing the characteristics of GN particles in his office. He found that the characteristics of GN particles are not just what they are currently showing. In Ilya Schuenberg's plan, in the upcoming dialogue, GN particles and solar furnaces are necessary elements. If it is only the current characteristics, it can only provide more powerful force at most. Professor Elfman does not think that this kind of improvement alone will allow humans and the Earth to be qualified to face the fear of alien civilizations that can often be found in the universe. What is it? Dialogue. It is also necessary to show force. After all, the weak are not qualified to talk to the strong, but I don't think Iulia Schuenberg's plan will be so superficial. The necessary elements of dialogue, language, culture, origin, purpose. All of these are factors that affect dialogue. Is it communication? That's not right. GN particles have the characteristics of hindering the propagation of electronic signals, which hinders communication. Is there anything else I don't know? At this moment, an encrypted communication interrupted Professor Elfman's thinking. Huh? Is it Melon? Professor Elfman opened the communication with some doubt. Logically, Yang Hui would not contact him. After all, he was an inspector. If he needed information about Union, he might as well go directly to Graham. But after just one look, he couldn't keep calm. Katajiri. Professor, what's wrong? Billy Katajiri ran in panic outside the door. We will move immediately. Is it an enemy attack? Katajiri's expression also became ugly. Yes, we are being targeted. Chapter 75, The Throne Angels Attack. Graham, who was far away in the Pacific Ocean, also received an encrypted communication. Huh? Why is this guy sending me a communication at this time? Graham frowned. The war had just ended not long ago, and he was still on his way back. Yang Hui should not have thought of it. Captain? What's wrong? Howard Mason asked when he saw Graham's strange expression. Nothing. Graham shook his head. I'm going out to get some fresh air. Captain, don't blame yourself too much. If it weren't for the new Gundam, Randy and the others wouldn't. Daryl Dodge comforted him. He thought Graham was blaming himself for the failure of the operation. I'm fine. Graham didn't explain, and he couldn't explain. After coming to the deck and making sure that there was no one around, Graham opened the encrypted communication sent to him by Yang Hui. Like Professor Elfman, his face became quite ugly. Hey, this bastard is not kidding, right? Although Graham said so, he believed that Yang Hui would not joke with him about such a thing. He turned around and wanted to notify his teammates to set off urgently to return to the base, but he froze as soon as he took a step. What should he say? Directly saying that the base will be attacked? Where did he get the information? But if he doesn't set off, he won't be able to catch up. The destruction of the base is a small matter. If Professor Elfman and Billy Katajiri are killed, it will be the biggest loss. Damn it, that bastard Melon, is he deliberately exposing me? Just as he was hesitating, Graham's pad rang again. He thought it was Yang Hui who sent him a solution, but when he saw that it was a communication from the bridge, he immediately answered it. It's me. What? The organism is breaking into the atmosphere. Upon hearing this, Graham was sure that the only miss capable of breaking through the atmosphere alone was the Gundam. Where is the expected landing site? What did you say? I'll set off immediately. After hanging up the communication, Graham immediately ran back to the team's lounge. Emergency dispatch. Return to base. Captain, what happened? The team members were confused. Hurry up. The organism is entering the atmosphere, and the expected landing site is our base. What? Is it the Gundam? Damn it. At this time, no one dared to delay, and immediately put on their pilot suits and ran towards their own machines. We must catch up. At the base of the, beyond the flag, troops, Professor Elfman immediately took Billy Katajiri to the underground shelter after receiving Yang Hui's encrypted communication. As soon as they entered the shelter, they heard the base alarm. It's really coming. But why? Billy Katajiri couldn't believe it. Why would the newly appeared Gundam target Professor Elfman and himself? Aren't everyone a member of the Celestial Being organization? Don't forget, Katajiri, not many people know our identities. I see, but isn't there Veda? Veda can't arrange a task to kill us. Billy Katajiri asked. I don't know, maybe, it's not an order from Veda. Elfman was also thinking about the same question. After thinking about it, there was only this answer, otherwise Yang Hui would not risk sending encrypted communications to warn them. Not Veda. Have you forgotten? Melon once said that there is a traitor in the organization. I see. If that's the case, then the 3 new Gundams. Well, The second stage has begun. I hope I can survive by chance. Billy Katajiri looked at the ceiling of the shelter, as if his sight could penetrate the surface. At first, Billy Katajiri suggested that Professor Elfman take a special plane to leave the base directly, but now it seems that Professor Elfman's choice is the most correct. If he really adopted his suggestion, they should be on the runway as a target now. As for whether the shelter can withstand the attack of the Gundam, they can only pray that it can. When the alarm sounded, the three angels had already arrived above the base. We have reached the target location, Nina. Connect directly with me and destroy the target in one go. Understood. Unit 2 retreated to the rear, and the GN particle output port of Unit 3 was connected to Unit 1. The long-range GN cannon was deployed, and Unit 3 held the trigger at the rear. High-concentration GN particle transmission. GN particles, transmission completed. Understood. Angel Unit 1, GN Mega Jet Cannon, fire. A thick black and red beam of light descended from the sky, like a giant's hand overturning the earth. Whether it was the runway, hangar, tall building, or signal tower, all were destroyed in this shot. Awesome. As expected of the big brother, you are so ruthless. Looking at the ruined base below, Michael became excited again, and it was at this time that the radar showed that there were enemy planes approaching from behind. Here they come. The miscellaneous soldiers are finally here. In the rear airspace, Graham's flag bearer took the lead and led the flag grabbers straight to Angel Unit 3. When Michael was about to show off his prowess, John stopped him. Let's retreat. Why? Just let me play for a while, brother. Before John could stop him, the Angel Unit 2 broke away from the formation and flew towards the formation of the Beyond Flag troops. It's okay, it will be over soon. I will destroy, ravage, and then annihilate them. Go. Fang. Facing the attacking GN Fangs, Graham was not panicked at all. He had already experienced the small single active unit, and it was much more powerful than the Angel Unit 2. Just slightly sideways to avoid all the GN Fangs, the flag bearer raised his gun and shot directly, hitting the Angel Unit 2 that was standing still. The violent vibration made Michael unbearable for a while, and even the external armor of the Angel Unit 2 was damaged. Damn it. How could a mere old-time Miz dare to hurt my Archangel? Ugh. Michael wanted to curse fiercely, but the members of the Beyond Flag did not want to give him a chance. The 3-3 formations circled and fired, forcing Archangel Unit 2 to retreat step by step. Don't underestimate the power of the flag bearer. Graham, who was burning with anger, accelerated instantly under the cover of his teammates, came in front of Archangel Unit 2, drew out his plasma saber and swung it down. Bang! Michael was startled, and Archangel Unit 2 immediately drew out the giant sword behind it to block. What shocked him was that the strongest of the three Archangel units, Unit 2, was actually suppressed by the flag bearer he looked down on. How is it possible? Don't underestimate us. Gundam. With a roar, the flag bearer's plasma saber suddenly exerted force, directly swinging away the giant sword of Archangel Unit 2, and kicked it in the abdomen, and the huge force brought it to the ground. Revenge for my subordinates, hatred for the base. Let's avenge them here. Gundam. With tail flames erupting from behind, the flag bearer accelerated again instantly and caught up with the Angelus Unit 2. The tip of the plasma saber was aimed at the cockpit of the Angelus Unit 2 and stabbed out with lightning speed. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.